It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and pop culture and hot topics. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around. And also, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification button so that we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so we got some big topics to get into today. You know, the Golden Globes premiered last night, so we got to get into that. Plus, Ricky Gervais revealed that if he were hosting the Golden Globes, which he wasn't because we had Nikki Glazer, um, he revealed some of the jokes on his social media that he was going to tell, including some Justin Timberlake, some Diddy jokes, some Kevin Hart jokes. So we're going to break those down. Plus, speaking of Diddy, the Diddler is responding to the upcoming Peacock documentary, because it is a documentary. Now we found out like the length and everything. So it's literally a 1 episode documentary. His lawyers are speaking out. He's not speaking out because clearly he don't have a megaphone. So there's that. So we're gonna break that down. Plus, Blake Lively's still at it. This time she's trying to really clean up her image because she's saying that Justin Baldoni's smear campaign started messing with her coins. And that's the reason why she's filing all these things. I was like, we should have known that. Once you start messing with people's money, that's what starts the mess. Then we got to get into this, Diplo accuser, who now has to reveal their name in the RP case, as in revenge rhymes with corn. Jelly Roll, child, here we go. White people yet again speaking on black stuff. Apparently, people are feeling divided based off of Jelly Roll giving his opinion on why Beyoncé was snubbed by the Country Music Association. So I'm break that down. Plus, 50 Cent is addressing the negative review of his Las Vegas residency. Cynthia Erivo wants a specific reality star to return back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all can pretty much figure out who it is. Christina Aguilera, this is the story we're going to talk about on Friday, but we're going to talk about it today. Christina Aguilera is basically addressing the weight loss stuff that people are accusing her of using Ozempic and things. And then we got to get into the story about the Vivienne. As y'all probably heard, the Vivienne passed away last week, but it was revealed yesterday that she had passed. But so the queens, everybody who was in the drag race space was giving their condolences. But then we had one queen from the show who decided to throw shade. And so the commenters got up on it. And Candy said it's on site with that bitch when she see her. So we talking about tired ass Tyra Sanchez. So we're going to get into that. She's the one that's out here starting her damn mess. She's basically a Azealia Banks of drag, apparently. And so we're going to talk about that. Plus more drag race drama because apparently Acacia forgot is clapping back at the comments regarding Bob and Monet's sibling watchery shade about her. So we're going to get into that and a whole lot more. And plus, if there's anything else that breaks out today, y'all know what to do. Just drop it in the comments and we'll talk about it. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep it short and to the point. Like I'm trying to get tighter with the topics because I don't want to like overexert and just put too many things in here because I'm like, I got plenty of days to be doing a show. So as I stated before, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that we can know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Me and my banner. I see this comments. He said, I normally don't trust mainstream news, but MSNBC said the biggest weapon is the Democrats. That is MAGA is falling apart. Take advantage of it because it's no secret. I'm so over these people because now we got Trump out here running his mouth talking about how he's upset over that Jimmy Carter's funeral is overshadowing stuff he got going on. It's like, who cares? God damn, why does Drake don't want to come in my straw? But anyway, yeah, well, we'll bring all that stuff up later on. But okay, so let's get into the Golden Globes. So I did not really watch the Golden Globes, but I did catch the highlights and I saw who was winning because throughout the night I was posting up on my social medias some of the winners and things of that nature. I will say, I will go on a record and say, because I wanted to see how Nikki Glazer did. So she did a phenomenal job. She did have me laughing a couple of times. A lot of the jokes that stood out for me, like she did a little Timothy Chalamet joke, and then got Adam Sandler to chime in on the joke about his Chalamet and all that other stuff. So that was pretty funny. Plus the joke that she made about Ben Affleck, where she was just like queer, night bitch. These are not just words that Ben Affleck screams out, after he climaxes. So I did laugh at that. Plus, the Stanley Tucci olive oil joke was hilarious because they were trying to say like the after parties aren't going to be the same, like with Diddy and his party. So it's like it doesn't ring the same bell when you have like, the baby oil. I mean the olive oil and Stanley Tucci. So that was pretty funny. There was she told a lot of pretty funny jokes. There was some that I was like, okay, take the stick out your ass. Like particularly Nicole Kidman's uptight ass, and don't even get me started on grumpy ass Harrison Ford. Like I grew up loving Harrison Ford, but I'm like, sir, would you stop being always coming across looking so damn angry and cranky because he's old? But for the most part, he was irritating me when it was like, I'm not expecting all the jokes to land, but for the most part, she did a solid job. I thought that she told the line just right in regards to telling the jokes without going over the line, which Ricky Gervais would do a lot of times in the past. And I kind of like when they go over the line. I'm like, burn the whole shit down. I don't care. Like if you're gonna tell your jokes, tell your jokes. But I'm not gonna sit up here and kiss all these celebrities' ass. And then I did like the fact that she was trying to sleep basically with Glenn Powell, because who doesn't want to sleep with him? That is a sexy ass man. But and I was like, oh, he's looking better, gooder than usual. But I will say this, Glenn, you better tread lightly in regards of like the overexposure, because you're starting to get a little overexposed, and I like you, but you're starting to get a little overexposed. You don't want to teeter into that Jennifer Lawrence, Anne Hathaway territory where we're seeing so much of you that's like, oh my God, why am I looking at this man on my screen again? Go away. Like I don't want to get to that point. So don't be up in our face too much. You don't want to overexpose yourself in the situations. But in regards of the winners, on the film front, the biggest one of the night seemed to be The Brutalist and Emilia Perez. The Brutalist won for Best Film Drama, Best Actor Drama, and Best Director, while Emilia Perez won for Best Film Comedy/Musical. Well, I will say they can get that because there is some musical numbers in that film. And Best Non-English Film, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Song. Now, to go back to The Brutalist, this shocked the hell out of me because I had no idea that Adrian Brody was dating Georgina Chapman. Now, if y'all don't know who Georgina Chapman is, she's a fashion designer member from Marquesa. She also used to be married to Harvey Weinstein. And I was sitting there like, when did this happen? I guess Adrian been keeping his profile real low because I had no idea them two was hunching until last night we saw her there in the audience while he was, accepting his award. So that shocked the hell out of me. Now, single award winners included The Substance. And yes, shout out to my girl, Demi Moore. I was so happy when she won. And I saw all you queens on social media getting all upset. Oh, Cynthia Erivo was robbed. Oh, I don't know how y'all didn't give it to her for Wicked. Okay, besides you Glee Club queens and all that other stuff, I mean, I'm not going to say nobody cares about Wicked, because that's not true. But I will say this. Y'all done effed up over there. Who's producing Wicked, is it Universal or Warner Brothers? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I realize y'all shot yourselves in the foot the minute y'all released Wicked on digital, because y'all are losing money from what I've been reading. Is that once it was released on like digital and you can rent it and buy it at home instead of having to go to the movies, y'all should have left it in the movies longer than, what was it, like the 40 to 49 days? Because y'all been doing it a lot. If the movie's been in theaters for like a month or 2 months or whatever, then y'all are quick to release it on digital. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have did that. Maybe y'all should have just given it like another good month to have it at least go up against Mufasa, and then go up against what's the other movie? Oh, Sonic 3, which I'm hearing like Mufasa is kicking butt at the box office. So I'm like, you should have just left Wicked in the movies a little longer. I mean, I think it might still be in the movies, but you could also rent it at home. But at this point, it's like, why would I want to go to the movies for people to ruin the moment for me to hear them singing Defying Gravity and Popular if I could watch it at home now with the sing along? So I think y'all shot yourselves in the foot. You should have gave it a couple more weeks before y'all did that. Maybe y'all should have released Wicked digitally or home video, whatever, in like February, I think, in my opinion. But anyway, to get back to this, I'm happy that Demi Moore won. First of all, I love The Substance. That movie, even though it grossed me out, besides the whole body horror thing, I absolutely love The Substance because of the subject matter, and plus, of course, me being a horror movie fan, the body horror definitely grossed me out. But I just thought that Demi Moore did a phenomenal job, and I do feel like her win was deserved. Now, will there be buzz about her possibility of getting like an Oscar and the SAG and the the Screen Actors Guild or SAG Screen Actors Guild, same thing, and all the other prestigious awards, the Independent Spirit, all those prestigious awards. I hope so. I would really love that Demi would get an Oscar nomination. And sidebar, before we get to the winners, there's a story going around that Demi Moore snubbed Kylie Jenner yesterday because she was at the same table as Elle Fanning. Now, Elle Fanning, I guess, they said, Tallulah had one of Demi and Bruce and Demi's daughter, Tallulah Bell, had to get on social media and debunk what everybody was saying because apparently people was running around saying that. And I seen the video footage online that Demi pretty much snubbed Kylie Jenner. I'm not necessarily buying what you're saying, Tallulah, but a little shade up in there. So she came up to the table. Elle Fanning, because I couldn't really tell if it was her, but then it was confirmed because I was like, is that Elle Fanning? I couldn't really tell, but based off like a side profile, I was like, I could pick it out a little bit, but not necessarily sure. But then someone confirmed this. I was like, okay, I was right. So she was congratulating her. They were having a conversation, and then I guess Kylie was trying to jump into the conversation, and I see that Demi did kind of glance at her and then went right back to Elle or Ellie. I don't know how you say her name. I think it's Elle. And then afterwards, Timothée Chalamet was sitting on the opposite side. So then they started kind of giving their little congratulations to each other. And then she went about her business, walking off, I guess, to her table, or maybe going to have a hobnob with other people in between the commercial. But they're trying to debunk the rumors that Demi was being disrespectful. I don't know. Y'all can look up the video on Twitter or any other social media platform and see it for yourself. If you agree. Oh, I forgot. The other joke that I liked from Nikki Glazer was the one she told about what's his name? Benny Blanco. When she was giving congratulations to Selena Gomez, and then was like, the biggest winner of the night is Benny Blanco because he rubbed because he's there because he rubbed the genie and got to one of his wishes was to get with. In so many ways, I'm paraphrasing. One of the wishes was him getting with Selena Gomez. So I was like, girl, that's shady, but I was living for it because a lot of y'all be out here saying that. That was like, how do a man that look like that get with a girl like Selena Gomez? And my thing is, because men who are not conventionally attractive, I feel like in so many ways will treat a woman better than somebody who looks like a Glenn Powell or something like that. But it's not necessarily true, because remember the other day we talked about Jay-Z and Beyonce, and you see what allegedly he cheated on her according to what they wrote in Lemonade. So it don't matter the looks. So, but it says single award winners include The Substance, Conclave. I liked Conclave, even though it is like you got to watch that early. Otherwise, if you watch that late at night, you will fall asleep on it. It's a lot of talking. Challengers, A Different Man, A Real Pain, Wicked, Flow, and I'm Still Here. I'm still here, here, here. I don't care what nobody say. That is a bop. Shout out to Tisha Campbell. If you know, you know. Now, shut out entirely were Honora, The Apprentice, Baby Girl, Holla If You Hear Me. Okay, we're not going to do no Aaliyah. It's like Baby Girl, A Complete Unknown, Doom Part 2, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, The Last Showgirl, Maria, Queer, The Seed, and the Sacred Fig, Sing Sing, and The Wild Robot. And I know a lot of people was getting mad because it was like, how y'all shut out Honora? Why y'all keep disrespecting Doom Part 2? Doom Part 2 is such a good damn movie. I can't tell you how many times I've watched it. I probably watched it like 3 or 4 times this year. I love that freaking movie. And I'm tired of y'all playing in Denis Villeneuve's face. So, but from what it was explained, I think a lot of people, because people kept saying the Academy. I'm like, the Academy is not behind the Golden Globes. It's the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. So you got a lot of international people that are voting on this stuff, which makes sense as to why Amelia Perez would have been the big winner versus an Honora and all these other ones and Wicked and all these other movies. Now, on the TV front, Shogun and Hacks were the biggest winners in the respective drama and comedy categories. Both shows took Best Series and Best Actress in the categories. Shogun also won for Best Actor in a Drama Series, whereas The Bears snagged the Best Actor in Comedy. And FX Japan Set Drama also scored Best Supporting Actor on TV. Now, I know some people would argue that The Bears not a comedy. It's got funny moments, but it's basically a dark drama. So I don't understand the... Sometimes I don't be the categories are a bit of a head scratcher when it comes to the Golden Globes. So y'all confuse the hell out of me with the way y'all go about stuff. So now shout out they said were Abbott Elementary, The Diplomat, Disclaimer, House of the Dragon, A Man on the Inside, Monsters, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Presumed Innocent, Ripley, Shrinking, and Slow Horses. Well, I feel like if this was like the Emmys or the other stuff, that stuff would not have been shut out. It would have been, it's going to be shut out at the Golden Globes. Some people actually believe that the Golden Globes ain't worth the price of tea in China. But it overall is this entertaining show where you get a bunch of celebrities in a building. They sit at a table. They get liquored up. Get food put on the table, but they don't eat it because you see they all weigh like 20 pounds so the way. You think the damn award show was sponsored by Ozempic. The way you got all the most skin and bones up in that theater. Nobody eats, but everybody drinks. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to see and they even poked the fun at Paramount Plus, which I love Nikki for. But if you do, speaking of Paramount Plus, if you have not seen the ceremony, you have Paramount Plus, you could actually catch the Golden Globes on there because, a lot of times if you don't have a network television, or the case is, you can watch it on the streaming services. So the full list is out. We can scroll through them real quickly because I was not doing the whole nominees. So as far as film, best film is The Brutalist. Best film music comedy, Emilia Perez. Best non-English language film, Emilia Perez. Best actress musical or comedy, Demi Moore, The Substance. Best supporting actress musical comedy, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Now, best actor drama, Adrian Brody, The Brutalist. Best actress drama, Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Cinematic and box office achievement for Wicked. Best actor musical comedy, Sebastian Stan, A Different Man. What not? Y'all ain't want to nominate him for playing Donald Trump. As a best supporting actor musical comedy, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain. Now I want to I've heard a lot about this movie that he's in. I think it was The Real Pain was written by Jesse Eisenberg because I was like, what the hell's Jesse been? Didn't he say that I think he said playing Lex Luthor kind of ruined his career. I read something else about that. But look, rehabilitate your career as a filmmaker, like behind the scenes. If the acting roles are gonna dry up, write your own stuff. Now, as far as TV, best TV series for drama, Shogun. Best TV actress drama, Anna Sawai for Shogun. Best TV actor, Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun. Best supporting actor, Tadanobu Asano for Shogun. What is this? Shogun is going to clean up everything. Don't get me wrong. Shogun was a good damn show. I love Shogun. I have not watched the last two episodes because I told y'all I get in this thing where it's like if I love a show, I hate the fact I don't want it to end, so I won't watch the last two episodes because I want to keep it like pretend like it's still going. I've done the same thing with The Last of Us. I still have not watched the last two episodes of The Last of Us because in my mind that show was still on. And I'm delusional that way. And then they also said best, you know what? I just realized this whole time that I'm sitting here talking to y'all and I didn't have up none of my pictures that I normally be putting up in regards to the show. Hold on. Just to have a little background situation. I was so into running my mouth as usual. But anyway, so there's a best TV series, comedy or musical, Hacks. Best TV actress, comedy or musical, Jean Smart for Hacks. Best limited TV series, Baby Reindeer. Best supporting actress, Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer. Best TV actor, Colin Farrell, The Penguin. Best TV actress, Jodie Foster, True Detective, Night Country. Now, I actually love Colin Farrell in The Penguin, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to bring for season 2 if we get it. Sidebar, before I forget, Matt Reeves was on the red carpet for the Golden Globes and said, despite the fact that they moved the Batman to, what was it, 2026, 2027? No, I think it was 2027. Besides them moving the Batman from its original release date of next year, they said they're going to start filming the movie this year. And he said very soon. So I'm like, okay. But how's that going to work out because, I think Robert Pattinson is, of course, Batman. And then Robert Pattinson's also going to be in Christopher Nolan's new movie. And aren't they supposed to start shooting that this year? So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to work that out. But apparently, Matt Reeves said they're going to start filming this year. Now, and Jodie Foster for True Detective, Night Country, although I was kind of disappointed in the overall execution of how they did that story with Night Country. I love seeing Jodie Foster in the show. And I also love seeing, Callie Reese? I loved her in the show as well. And I love the subject matter and everything they were talking about with the indigenous people in Alaska. And it was like, is it something supernatural that happened or whatever the case was? So I love I love the whole idea surrounding that country. I just felt like the overall execution of that season kind of disappointed me a little bit. But after that certain scene, and then Baby Rain Day, after a certain scene that y'all know happens in the middle of the season, I couldn't continue watching. Thinking it was episode 5 with the essay of the main actor. I was like, I'm not watching this. I was done. So I don't know how that show ends. So, and then Hacks, everybody's always talking about that show. Shogun is a good show. And then I saw that Kevin Ortega Rojas was complaining because he said that, okay, now still Golden Globe so white because it was like, what was it? 3 Asian people won, 2 Latinas won, and everybody else was white. So there was no kind of diversity in regards of like the wins and all the other stuff. And I always look at it as like whoever's good for the part, whatever. But we got to stop. And I keep saying this. Can we stop trying to look to these award shows for some sort of validation? It's like, look, if they're not gonna give it to us, create our own stuff. Why we always want to infiltrate these people's spaces and then we get mad when enough of us don't get a piece of the pie. It's like create your own situation. Or at the end of the day, if true artist is not about the award. The fact of the matter is, I'm in the room. My name is on the tip of y'all tongues and my stuff is getting acknowledged in other ways. As long as, the Academy is noticing what I'm doing and giving me the accolades and all the other stuff that I need. If I don't win the award, okay, that's fine. But at least I get to be in the room and people are talking about my film and it is what it is. So it's like when it comes to art, I don't do stuff for the approval of others. You got to do it for you. And then hopefully other people will like what you do. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to the whole Golden Globe situation? Did you watch? Were you surprised with some of the people that won? I was pretty surprised that Demi Moore won, although I was rooting for her to win. I was surprised that she actually walked away with the Golden Globe. And who did you guys think who was on your list that you wanted to win? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. um so you said I knew the Golden Globes were airing and did not care, and it clearly wasn't worth watching. Well, look, I gave you the best parts. Oh, child, I forgot to bring up Vin Diesel. I forgot to bring that up in the actual thing. Where Vin Diesel was being messy and was like, had to wait. And then you saw the look on the Rock face. He was smiling and he kind of just kind of disappeared, like, why is this motherfucker talking to me? It was like, child, we got 2 melanated folk, or partially melanated folks, big alpha males who pretty much careers mimic each other, just back and forth with the feud and all the other stuff. Is that a way to get us pumped for Fast 11 whenever you're gonna start filming that? And then also, isn't Dwayne supposed to premiere at WWE Raw tonight or something or another on Netflix? That's what I said. I really didn't watch the Golden Globes. I just watched the opening with Nikki Glazer. I caught like who was winning, and because I don't really watch award shows like that no more. I just don't. I just feel like at this day and age, I really don't care about the way that they do award shows now is not as exciting for me as it was when I used to watch award shows back in the day. And I think it's because we didn't really have social media and stuff like that. Now it's just like the information comes at us so quick that it's like, okay, well, by the time the show actually airs, I don't even care anymore because they spilling everything online. I'm a Wicked fans who are upset that Cynthia and Ariana lost. It's no secret that there's Wicked Part 2 this November, but so Wicked Part 1 losing this time around is probably going to be expected. Well, not to them because they want, people want everybody to win every damn thing. Or if their favorites don't win, they want to bully other people because their fave didn't win. But yeah, we'll see how Wicked Part 2 pans out versus Wicked Part 1. And then we'll see if they're going to win. But it's going to be hard when you have Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, who I guess in the eyes of the film or the people voting, they're kind of like co-leads. So how do you choose who wins over the other? If Cynthia Erivo don't win, here we go with the identity politics. People are going to say, oh, God, she black. And I say, we ain't doing that. Or if it's Ariana, then people are going to get mad. So it's just like these award shows, I just feel like they're all so stupid. Do we even need them anymore? There's a question, but yes, but kudos to Demi Moore. I'm glad Demi Moore did win something. I love the substance, as did I. Grace Randall says Zoe Saldana is locked for winning best. She don't know what the hell she talking about. Grace and that annoying ass helium voice of hers need to go sit her dry head having that. What the hell is she putting that hair? Why the hell always look like that Teresa Caputo helmet? I cannot stand her. She irritates me. And when she, especially because she's made some colorist comments where I was just like, bitch, if you don't shut the fuck up, but you don't know who's in a lock for anything. So I don't know why she's out here saying anything regarding who's a lock for winning anything. You don't know what you're talking about. So she needs to stop that. Because then when you're wrong, then what? Are you going to actually admit that you're wrong? Because a lot of y'all on social media don't do it. You said Universal is wicked. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, y'all shouldn't have released it. You said Lourdes had highly kicked out of several New York fashion. And my understanding when asked about Kylie and Timothy dating, he said if plastic and STD is his thing, good for him. Child. Why was I holding in that laugh? And you said ugly people, yeah, they do. Don't be like that. Ugly people cheat on ugly people. David Harbour is cheating on Lily. So you're trying to say Lily Allen ugly too? Child, who was out here actually remembering? Don't nobody remember Lily Allen except that song she released way back in the day. I remember they played one time when I was at when I was working in the arena and we were just starting out the show and they were just, we play the music in the background as the people starting to come in to get to their seats. I was like, anybody checking for Lily Allen? Drake has even said it's time to create our own version of the Grammys because Hotline Bling won the rap Grammy, but to him it was a pop song. Well, no shade, but a lot of what Drake does is pop music, yet and still because he is of a certain hue. And I hate having to always bring race into this, but that's basically how this industry is. It's the same thing where I got to keep bringing it back to Mooney Long when she made her comments about Kesha and all the shadiness that goes on behind the scenes with people stealing their songs. And then you had Will I Am busted ass, dusty fucking ass. I can't stand him either. Stole that damn Scream and Shout song and basically had the same girl, I forgot her name, who sang that song, who originally had a song. Was it Natalia Reyes or something? Or Natasha Reyes? Did she do some songs with J-Lo too? Child, speaking of which, the industry was notorious for stealing other people's songs and giving it to Hannaful. And then you had, um, yeah, she was out here saying that was her song because I'm closing my eyes because I'm actually trying to remember vividly in my brain. um, Basically was like, can you give me the song? Because I guess he wanted to put Britney on it. She ain't necessarily bring Britney because she was like, Britney didn't know. And it's like, yeah, for the most part, Britney going into the studio, somebody hand her a song and they be like, just sing it like this and whatever, and put it out. There's a lot of artists that are like that just basically just mimic what they're being told to do and getting there recorded. If they're really passionate about something, then they'll come up with their own ideas. But for the most part, if they're going in the studio and you're basically just giving a song, and it's like even with A. Marie, like they was trying to give her song to Jennifer Lopez, and she was like, "Hell no, you not." And so she had to purposely leak it so that, excuse me, so that way they could get their hands on it. And then you see what happened, right? Rich Harrison ended up doing "Get Right" with her, which basically sounded like a poor man's version of One Thing. You said Denial may be a river, but the wire will never end for me. Either as I have a feeling my favorite character will inspire. Oh, so you another one too that you don't finish watching the show because um you have it in your head like, oh no, I don't want that character. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. You talking about oh my god, Omar. Because I lived for Omar from The Wire. Because I was like, that was the first time I actually seen like a character that was a homosexual, but then that was from the hood and was a drug dealer and was gangster, and everybody was scared of him. Because we never would see like gay characters like that. They were always like caricatures or hairdressers and makeup artists or drag queens, all those stereotypes. But you had a dude that was like straight up nooker that would beat your behind and always pulled the baddest of boys too. He always had them little cuties with him. He said, that you died. That's how I knew he was like, okay, you talking about Omar from The Wire. Hope your faves are paused at a high point. Hmm. Oh, you said well for what he said. Oh, you talking about Michael Musa? What he said about Demi Moore? Yeah, that was funny. Where he was talking about like, oh yeah, you won a couple of awards, you won some Razzies. Don't be sitting here acting like you ain't never won an award. But that was funny though, because but that's Michael Musa. Um, the old gays are messy for saying Demi Moore ignoring the Razzies is homophobic. I mean, it kind of is. Lily Allen is still very popular in the UK and way more celeb. Well, yeah, that's true. That the Brits will, they well, no shade, but the Brits I feel like they're more appreciative of music than we are. I don't feel like that Americans we just real fickle, and I wish we weren't. You know what? I swear to Christ, my job irritates me because they'll release stuff and be like, "Oh yeah, there's a thing available, a thing available, a thing available," and it's like y'all are full of it. And then when you put it in, it's like, "Oh no, it's no longer available." And I'm sitting here telling y'all my personal work business. But whatever, it is what it is. Anyway, let's move on. Oh wait, got another comment. So unfortunately, if we did a real gay guy on TV, I think heart attacks would happen when they realize that we are not like him. Well, it has been done before. That's why I was saying like when we have Michael K. Williams out here playing Omar from The Wire, when you've had certain characters or that have been on TV that have played unconventional or what they would deem unconventional queer characters, we've seen that. We just don't see enough of it. And I really wish that we would continue to push for that because I think like the reason why they do that because I guess it's easily identifiable if you have someone who is effeminate, then you could tell, oh yeah, I know he gay. It's like so we all walking around with a damn badge and a scepter and a crown, like here, like no, that's not how that works. It's like sometimes you don't need to know what people's personal stuff is. If they do end up getting into it, then it is what it is. Jesus Christ, my phone is just like going off. But yeah, rest and drag legacy Vivienne. We're gonna talk about Miss Vivienne in a second. Um, yeah, they keep trying to push for some people to come in for today at the Garden. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a show. It's like if I do that, then I'm like, oh, I got to cut off, and then y'all letting people know like 2 hours before. Mm-mm. But yeah, like Magical Mermaid says, rest and drag legacy Vivienne. We're gonna get to that story later on because there's a whole lot to unpack. I did see one post online about it from Us Weekly, and it was like a minute 20. I'm like, how you unpacking that whole situation in under 2 minutes? Like nobody can do that. But because we got the extra stuff with Tyra, so we got to talk about and break all that down with the plus the tributes and all of that. So we will get to that later on in the show. So we have Diggs here in the building. And so now let's in other Golden Globe news, Ricky Gervais popped up on social media yesterday and reveals what he might have said if he was invited back to host the Golden Globes. Now, I will say this. I like Ricky Gervais. I like some of the jokes and stuff that he tells because he's willing to, cross that line. I don't mind, if people want to go over and cross the lines and all that other mess because I live for the shade. But some people, in Hollywood, y'all get a little too damn sensitive. Like I said, I even like the joke about what Nikki Glaser said yesterday, where she was talking about that, how celebrities are so influential, except for when y'all try to tell people who to vote for. I do like that joke. She was like, I'm scared. And then Ariana Grande, hold my finger. And then she decides to hold Cynthia Erivo's finger instead. I'm like, when y'all say hold my finger, was it a fart joke? But anyway, so Ricky Gervais, he has hosted in the past the Golden Globes 5 times, and he took aim at Justin Timberlake, Kevin Hart, Diddy, and the Vatican, as he shared a taste of some of the jokes that he would have used if he'd returned for Sunday's award show, which would be hosted by Nikki Glaser for the first time. He said, sat in the bath wondering about what I would say if I were hosting the Golden Globes on Sunday. It's been a pretty good year for material. This is what he wrote on Twitter after previously hosting in 2010, 11, 12, 16, and 2020. Or as Barbara Walters would say, 2020. So he began, "Hello, and welcome to the 82nd Golden Globe Awards. What a year it's been. Hundreds of entertainers jumped at the chance to go to the Vatican to meet the Pope, many from Hollywood. Obviously, they weren't content with only being part of the second biggest pedo ring in the world." So when he said that, I did cackle. Then he also went on to say Justin Timberlake was convicted of drunk driving. If he'd have gone to jail, he'd have heard the word sexy back a lot more often. And then also, so what else he said? Oh, so we had another joke where he went on and said the following. He said Kevin Hart said that being at one of Diddy's parties was uncomfortable as he wouldn't leave him alone. Eventually he had to shout, "My midget, not a child." Now, you know, a lot of people would have been upset. I'm not midget. Little people. We call them little people now. Whatever. I just get so irritated when it's like, you got to try to keep up with all these new terms and names and things. And people get all bent out of shape in regards of, you can't say that. Child, suck my ass. Don't be sitting up here trying to say what we can and cannot say in regards of, you know, certain terms and things of that nature. So, you know, his jokes come after Glazer said she's not going to go so hard at anyone. I mean, that anyone's going to be offended during her hosting gig at last night's award show. He said, "I made a point not to," and that's, well, she said, "I made a point not to, and that's not to disappoint anyone who's hoping I'm going to pull a Ricky Gervais. I'm not Ricky Gervais. This isn't my last Golden Globes. This is my first one. He really went hard on his last one. He was ready to burn some bridges because it didn't matter anymore." Well, why does it always feel like they always feel like when you say certain jokes or whatever the case is, that it's a case of, "Oh, you're burning bridges." It's like, celebrities aren't exempt from getting roasted. You already know, like when you go to these shows, that somebody's gonna go and tell jokes. You can find ways to tell jokes in a clever way where it's not so mean spirited. Like there's a difference between roasting or funny and it being just crude. We've seen that play out many a times when we watch episodes of Drag Race where they tell you like you can roast people, but you gotta know where to toe that line, where it's just not like real just nasty and mean spirited and uncomfortable. And we've seen when a lot of queens have tried to do that, where they've gone over the line, but they weren't funny. It was just like, sis, what are you doing? And then y'all wind up in the bottom. So that's usually what it is when it comes to that whole situation. I thought those jokes were pretty clever. And I would have loved to heard those type of jokes. I mean, Nikki Glazer did tell a joke, you know, she told some Diddy jokes and all the other stuff. I do think it would have been pretty funny to tell that Justin Timberlake one because it's like, yeah, you would have heard, if he would have went to jail, he would have heard that phrase sexy back a lot more often. And so it was a bottoming joke. So I'm here for the shade. I just think like, look, celebrities didn't need to stop being so. I get it. It's like when it's to award shows, like you're nervous and you're hoping to win or whatever the case is. So you know you're a little uptight. But as you know, Nikki tried to tell that joke to Harrison Ford that went over his head that it was he couldn't decide between what do you say the Sabrina or the Ariana, then you can go and get like the indica. She's trying to tell a weed joke or whatever. And I was like, well, look, maybe you need some damn weed to relax. Or who says they're not on it? You know, they probably down with eating all them damn edibles and stuff at them award shows. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of them Ricky Gervais jokes? Would you like to have heard said jokes at the Golden Globes? And what were your overall thoughts in regards of how you think Nikki Glazer did, if you happen to see it? Even if you haven't seen the award show, the clip is floating around on YouTube. You can actually watch the opening monologue, her opening joke situation. So you don't have to sit and watch the whole damn show. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Excuse me, Magic Memory says Demi Moore has always been underappreciated because of beauty and jealousy. And she still looks good you know, at her age. Like I'm like, what skin regimens have you been using? And can you pass some of them to Madonna? It was like no shade to Madonna, but girl. Um, Demi Moore been working on her body and she ain't had to go crazy. And she still looks youthful and radiant. And she looked great last night. But then I've seen recent pictures of her too. Joe Coy, you went to school with Joe Coy. First of all, Joe Coy was terrible. I was like, what were they thinking having up in there? And I like Joe Coy, but I was like, Joe Coy is, well, them jokes was horrible. He was not a good host. I think they did better this year. And it's gonna be hard to find real comedic talent that can actually that knows how to toe that line of like, they do the roasting thing, but they also can kind of play in that whole celebrity A-list Hollywood space of doing the comedy and all that other stuff. So we'll see. Okay, now speaking of the diddler, let's get into him. Because the other day we talked about, the Peacock documentary that he has coming out. We, mentioned a little bit of it, and now, his people, well, I guess, or Diddy, via his attorneys, have spoken out regarding the upcoming Peacock documentary, it's called Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, and it's going to be released on Peacock on January 14th, so that's next week. Now, Combs' lawyers released a lengthy statement on Friday stating, these documentaries include unchecked claims and provide platforms for baseless conspiracy theories without accountability or evidence. Now, in the case of the Peacock documentary in particular, the motivations and credibility of those being interviewed must be questioned. Well, isn't that what they do when they do these documentaries? They said many claim to have knowledge but lack any connection to the truth, while their wild, unfounded theories are cut and sensationalized to appear factual. Now, Diddy insiders such as a childhood friend, a former bodyguard, and a making the band winner gives interviews in the Peacock special. His former Uptown Records label mate, Albie Shore, who was married to the late model Kim Porter before she began her relationship with Diddy, breaks his silence in the documentary. Porter is the mother of three of Combs' children, Christian, 26, and twins Jesse and Delilah, who are 18. Now, the trailer for the special released on Thursday includes footage of the rapper partying at home and in the studio, saying, I've been with Sean for quite a while, and I've captured a lot of moments, one unidentified source claimed. Anytime the studio or any rooms is lit with red lighting, he's making love, sex. Some of the girls who were in the room for sure, they were underage. They also said that they could ship me off and sell me to anyone. And this is what an unidentified woman claims, in the documentary. Now, Combs' legal team declared that Sean Combs unequivocally denies these false allegations, which are harmful, defamatory, and unsupported by credible evidence. It is deeply concerning how such narratives can influence public perception and prejudice the legal process. He deserves his day in court with an impartial jury, free from the taint of these baseless claims. The facts will be addressed in court where truth, not fiction, will prevail. And this is why I was saying, like, can we just wait until like the trial and stuff happens? Because isn't his trial date is set for May of this year? So why can't these documentaries just wait until after the fact, until they get all the evidence, and then go and reach out to people and speak out on the situation? Because I do feel like in this day and age, we have a lot of people, media particularly, that wants to capitalize on sensationalizing someone else's personal life and things that they may or may not have been doing, and then it may prove influential in possibly damaging their case. That's why I didn't like when TMZ was doing the stuff they was doing over there with Tubi. I don't know if I particularly care, although I am interested in watching this Peacock documentary. We have the one with 50 Cent coming out. We got the one for the people who were behind the Nickelodeon documentary that's doing one. So we have all these people that's coming out doing shows and documentaries on Diddy, and then it's like, well, damn, it's so many different people. Who do I choose to watch? That's not going to be repeating themselves, or somebody who's just trying to say stuff just because they want to have a moment. So I would say like we should wait. However, uh, Diddy, it's hard to kind of take you seriously as being like these are presidented or these are salacious claims when you pretty much said the same thing about Cassie. You called her everything but a damn lie. You basically called her a liar. You called her every other name in the book, was saying she was a money grab and all this other stuff. And then the video leaked of you basically beating her behind in the hallway, and you paid for that evidence to go away, but your dumb ass kept it instead of getting rid of the evidence. And that's what sociopaths do. This is what serial killers do too. They always like to keep a memento, could stutter on that word a little bit. They like to keep a little souvenir or memento. So that way it's a recollection or memory or something or another of something that they have on someone or something that they did. And so I'm of two minds about it. While I would be like, yeah, let's give him a fair trial, which quiet as it's kept, I don't think that Diddy's getting out of jail. I do believe that they're gonna find you guilty. They got enough evidence. A lot of your past has finally caught up with you, and I don't see you getting away with some of the things that you claiming that or you thinking that you're gonna get away with. So yeah, I'm all here for you getting a fair trial, but sir, I don't see it happening. I mean, I do see the fair trial happening, but I don't see like you thinking that all this other stuff that's coming out about you is, that you're gonna get away with it and you're gonna go scot free. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of course, like clockwork, these people are gonna deny what's the allegations and stuff. But my thing is this: why don't y'all wait and see the documentary and then say all this is a lie or whatever the case is? Because you don't know what they put in there. You're going based off a under 2 minute trailer that was all over YouTube. You haven't really seen what they're going to actually put in there. You only got these little clips and you're responding to it. You haven't seen the full episode or the full documentary to even know what type of allegations they're making against you or claims. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Excuse me. Okay, so let's move on from one case to another, and let's get into this Blake Lively story. So now this thing still continues. Child, I'm exhausted talking about it. So now her latest lawsuit, she's claiming that Justin Baldoni's smear campaign against her is affecting the sales of her brand deals. Now, the funny part was, I didn't even know Blake Lively was out here doing brands, but I guess when you're not acting as much, you got to come out with some sort of way to make a coin. So the actress, who's 37, sued her It Ends With Us co-star and director, who's 40, last month, alleging harassment and fostering a toxic work environment on the set. He has staunchly denied the allegations. Now, in the first complaint, she also claimed Baldoni worked to tarnish her reputation with the team, including his publicist, Jennifer Abel, and Crisis PR, Melissa Nathan, who previously worked with Johnny Depp. Abel has denied waging a smear campaign. Now, Lively then launched a more formal complaint on New Year's Eve, doubling down on her accusations. She filed her first complaint with the California Civil Rights Commission, but is now suing Baldoni in federal court in New York. And in the latest lawsuit, and it's like, child, it's so many damn lawsuits, it is hard to keep up. But thank y'all media for keeping it, all the stuff in organization. So and in the latest lawsuit, she has claimed that the campaign to destroy her reputation has caused her to suffer financial harms, which continues to the present. And you don't think Justin is suffering as well, but you know what? Some people feel like in this whole situation, the way I've been breaking it down, I feel like they're both in the wrong. I think that Blake has a nasty reputation of being just a deplorable human being behind the scenes. We've seen how she treats certain media people. When someone gave her a compliment about her baby bump, she was real nasty and snarky with the reporter and basically just turned to the actress that was sitting beside her and pretty much ignored the reporter that was doing her job. And don't get me wrong, like there's situations when it comes into this industry where I do feel like it is a bit gender biased when it's like you ask the guys the smart questions, but then when it comes to women, you only want to ask about beauty and all the vapid stuff. And some of the women are like, well, why don't you ask me about? I'm gonna just make a joke like quantum physics. I could speak on that, but it's just something smart. Just ask them something smart or whatever. You get some people that are like that, where they feel like, okay, let me I don't want to just be asked about, well, how do you look so youthful? Or why does your hair look the way that, like, they don't want those stupid, vapid questions, but those are the ones that get asked. So, she has a hair care brand apparently called Blake Brown, and she has two drink beverages, Betty Buzz and Betty Booze. Do the people at Betty Boop need to sue you? Because that's what they sound like. Betty Buzz and Betty Booze both suffered huge losses in sales due to the backlash she received. First of all, I've never heard of these drinks until today. Well, until I, heard about the article, I should say. Now, the lawsuit states that Blake Brown sales plummeted by up to 78% after the social manipulation campaign started. She said, based on internal sales predictions, the sudden and unexpected negative media campaign launched against Ms. Lively depressed retail sales of Blake Brown products by 56 to 78%. The lawsuit added this dramatic drop was completely at odds with the high satisfaction scores that Blake Brown products received in the significant consumer testing performed before launch of its initial success after launch. While it also stated around the same time the social media accounts of Miss Lively's brands, including Betty Buzz and Betty Booze, were flooded with hateful comments, which began to echo through other social and traditional media outlets. And what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to show receipts based on the sales before the lawsuit and then sales after to prove that, okay, so there was a disruption in the force in regards of her sales. But also, I will say this: there have been people in my comments as well, even when I've done like my YouTube clips of some of the topics. I've had people in my comments who are more Team Justin than they are Team Blake. There are people that do not believe that Blake Lively is innocent in this whole situation, and it could be because a lot of her behavior in the past is coming back to haunt her. But just because you've had a bad reputation of being a nightmare on set with people in the past doesn't necessarily mean that you should be exempt from, okay, so this one time that you was on set and people were treating you a certain way, that should be allowed. But then again, you, ma'am, should not be treating people the way you be treating people either on set. So it goes both ways. So I don't know. I just feel like at the end of the day, it's probably going to become a situation where it's a no-win situation. Like, you're both wrong in a lot of the ways that you have handled this whole situation with this movie. And then also they're trying to say that, you know what, Justin may have a little ace up in his sleeve, because apparently Ryan Reynolds may have done a little joke in Deadpool and Wolverine where Nice Pool has this man bun type of look to him, and he was probably, they believe, was mocking Justin Baldoni as, under the guise of Nice Pool. So that's kind of the rumor where a lot of the internet sleuths are pulling at this situation. I don't know. It could be a reach. I haven't really done enough deep research to deep dive deep into that to know it. Look, I only saw Deadpool and Wolverine once. I thought it was cute. It would, besides the action or whatever, the jokes don't always land for me. But it's not like Devil Wolverine is not a movie that I'm just going to sit and watch 800,000 times and just go, oh my god, this is the greatest thing in cinema. So for me to sit and like nitpick and try to look for any little minute detail or whatever, just so that way it's like, okay, there's a valid argument in that. I haven't done the research, but that is the latest thing that's going around now, where people feel that um Ryan Reynolds may have partaken in kind of co-signing on being shady and bullying Justin Baldoni on behalf of his wife. So that is the latest on this story. I think it was more that they were talking about, but child, this article was like this is literally like, let me see how long this is, because usually my website tells me this is an 8-minute read, child. So I'm not gonna sit up here and give y'all the whole thing, but that's the latest on what's going on with her. But I should point out, so to give Baldoni's side, his lawyer Brian Freeman declared the actor intends to sue Lively herself. And he told NBC, we plan to release every single text message between the two of them. We want the truth to be out there. We want the documents to be out there. We want people to make their discrimination based on receipts. A source with knowledge of the case claims that Baldoni's lawsuit against Lively will be launched soon. Now, Lively's lawsuits include screen grabs and text messages by Baldoni, Abel, and Nathan, supposedly showing a PR takedown of the actors being planned. And Freeman has previously slammed the leaked personal text message for lacking critical context, and now he has said on television that he and his client mean to publish all text between Lively and Baldoni. Because it's like, well, if that's where you going, if you want to sit up here and release text messages and personal information to justify your stuff, well, guess what, sis? We're about to do the same damn thing. And then it was also saying that one example is a purported screen grab of a conversation between Lively and Baldoni, in which she apparently informs him she is pumping breast milk in her trailer and then invites him there to work with her. Lively allegedly texts Baldoni, I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines. And he replies, copy, adding, eating with crew, and we'll head that way. Friedman argues that those texts prove Lively's claim that Baldoni went into her trailer uninvited while she was undressed, including while she was breastfeeding. Now, her latest lawsuit targets Baldoni, Abel, and Nathan and defendants, as well as Baldoni's production company, Wayfair Studios. So you're basically trying to say, well, yeah, well, why would you invite me to come to your studio and, to come to your trailer to run lines, whatever, if you were in the middle of pumping your breast with the stuff? I assume maybe for as long as he was eating with the crew, that it was like, I was just like, oh my God, I gotta go see Blake's titties. So let me go dump my food real quick and go run to the trailer so I can get a glance. It's like, I don't think that's what that was. I just feel like maybe it was like, maybe she posted what she posted, went on with the pumping of the breast milk, and probably it was out of sight, out of mind. But he shows up, and then she got in her feelings, whatever the case was. I don't know, I wasn't there, but I'm definitely gonna be keeping abreast of this story as it continues to develop, and it seems to be developing every hour on the damn hour. So. As y'all know, I will, as I said, I will be keeping abreast of this story, but I want to hear from you. What do you guys think of this latest claim in regards of her saying that the smear campaign caused sales of her hair care and drink brands to plummet? No, like I said, you're gonna have to come to the court with the receipts to show what was the number, like how well was your brands doing pre and post allegations for us to know like if there's any validity into what you're saying. Because, and I'm not going to sit here and try to act like, yeah, she's not being trolled by a lot of people on social media, but she is. And I'm telling you, it's easy for everybody to say, oh, it's men being misogynist. No, it ain't got shit to do with no men being misogynist. Yeah, there's some men up in there, but there's a lot of women. Trust me when I tell you that have been up in the comments basically saying that they team Justin and not team Blake. So we're not just going to sit up here and just blame the men and make it like this one-sided misogynistic type situation, because it's not. It's coming from both genders, but I think more so for women than anything, which shocked the hell out of me. And even when I did my story on Kate Beckinsale last week, some people were like, why is even Kate even asserting herself in this conversation? It's not the same thing. Well, I mean, it was harassment and discrimination and abuse that's happening on the set, so the relatability is there with that, and there's a lot of women that experience these things, so there's the common denominator. But I feel like also people believe Kate Beckinsale over Blake because Kate Beckinsale is not problematic. We haven't heard anything about her behind the scenes being a nightmare. We've heard a lot of stories about Blake. So it makes it hard for people, the court of public opinion, I guess, overall to side with her. So we'll see how it all plays out. But let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Robert says Blake also caused Leighton Meester to leave Hollywood because every TV show movie said Leighton realized as a small town girl that she has to deal with more Blakes. Look, and it's like let Adam Brody get out there and work. He's working. His career is on fire right now. He said, mm-hmm. Like some small town people are able to make it, but you know, so Cooper is being pushed out of Hollywood. So it's like she's all right though, but it was like if she had it's sad if you have to give up the thing that you love because you got to deal with toxic freaking people. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about Diplo. So I totally forgot about this story until it came out last week that we got an update because there's a New York woman who claimed that Diplo shared sexually explicit photos of her without her consent. So RP, I guess is what we call it, and y'all can, revenge rhymes with corn. Those who don't know what RP is, they say that she got to use her real name. So while Jay-Z, person gets to remain anonymous, the person that's accusing Diplo of some RP has to say her name, So the case in which the DJ, in real name Thomas Wesley Pence, filmed sexual encounters and shared them on Snapchat, child, was filed by an unnamed Jane Doe. But in a ruling on Thursday, December 31st, Judge Monica Ramirez Almadani said that the accuser had failed to legally show that she needs to remain anonymous. Now, the use of Doe's pseudonyms has become common in SA complaints, and attorneys for Diplo's accuser had argued that she would face retaliation if her name is revealed. But Judge Almadani said such treatment is reserved only for clear-cut, high-risk situations and that the case against Diplo doesn't qualify under that standard. Probably because it's seen as RP rather than SA. He didn't assault you in any way. He basically just allegedly had photos, whatever the case is, of you and posted it on social media. But she's got to prove that that's what he did. But you do that. You can post stuff like that on Snapchat. But the Snapchat photos and video and things that only last like 24 hours. Cyber, who still uses Snapchat? It's like we haven't used Snapchat in years. So and I don't know, Snapchat be having too many damn rules. They got on my damn nerves. So after they banned one of my profiles, whatever the case was, because it was like I was sharing stuff on there. I was just like, okay, I'm done with y'all because y'all just be ridiculous with y'all stuff. I be feeling like they're way more annoying and way more strict than like Meta. So I just stopped messing with Snapchat. And that was like maybe 2 years ago. So they said the court appreciates the plaintiff's allegations in her complaint are sensitive and of a highly personal nature, and that she may face some public scrutiny. However, absent or a demonstrated need for anonymity, there is a prevailing public interest in open judicial proceedings. The ruling is a win for Diplo, who had strongly denied the lawsuit's allegations and argued that the plaintiff must reveal her name. Now, in court filings, his lawyers had argued that he could not adequately confront his accuser without knowing her identity. Now, in a statement to Billboard on Friday, attorneys for the Jane Doe called the ruling disappointing and said such decisions have become increasingly common in abuse cases among celebrities, saying that the imbalance of power in a situation like this is startling and should not be underestimated by the public or by the courts, said Margaret Mabey and Helen Weiss. In the digital age, being compelled to disclose one's name in such proceedings risks permanently linking a survivor to their trauma. And then on top of that, you got to worry about the fact that Diplo's, I mean, I don't know if Diplo's fans are as crazy as like, you know, the Beehive or the Navy or the Barbs, because you know that story about Nicki Minaj allegedly putting paws on one of her ex-managers. You already hear like the Barbs out here tonight, he deserved it and all this other mess. So even though y'all don't even know the context of the situation, just because you love your fame and their music and whatever it is that they do does not mean that they're allowed to just treat people and abuse them the way that they've allegedly been abusing them. So it's the same thing like with Diplo. If this is a situation where it's like, I feel like the fandom, y'all need to stay out of it. Let the courts handle what it is that they're doing. And I don't know if I like the idea of, or maybe people just don't take RP as seriously as SA. Maybe because they feel like it needs to be an actual physical assault situation versus I feel like the courts still have yet to catch up with the digital world. The real world has not caught up with the digital world yet, and how they set these laws in place regarding situations that are happening to people. Oh, excuse me, I burped as I talked. How they deal with with people in these type of situations, because I always feel like, yeah, when it comes down to it, and we've heard many cases and stuff in the past where it's like, yeah, the law still has to catch up with in regards of like what's going on in social media and how you handle those type of cases. So maybe they need to figure out how they can do that. Like what other laws regarding RP? Because I know like in certain states, right, like if you do any kind of RP towards people, you do serve jail time. Or maybe what they're saying is like, yeah, the rules don't apply to him because he's a celebrity. So, in the complaint, which was filed in June, so I can give y'all the full situation, Diplo's accuser alleged that she had a consensual sexual relationship with the DJ from 2016 to 2023, and that she occasionally gave defendant Diplo permission to record them, doing the yum yum bouncy bouncy. But she said she later learned that he had sometimes secretly recorded them and then shared footage on the internet without plaintiff's knowledge or consent. Now, plaintiff brings this action to recover for the emotional and physical injuries she endured because of Diplo's actions, and to make sure no one else is forced to suffer the privacy invasions and physical and mental trauma she felt and continues to feel to this day. And this is according to her attorneys. And this is why I'm like, now I understand everybody wanting to have their freak moments, and y'all are here for, I'm all down for the recording and stuff. And trust and believe, I've done some of the stuff that's up in here too, not without people's permission, but there are some recordings of me tearing up somebody's booty hole. But look, when you get in those situations, it needs to be a consensual thing with each other. Now, in regards of sharing it with people, I'm not doing that. Like, I respect people in a way where it's like, I'm not gonna post footage of them online and try to make a profit or share it amongst friends, because that's disrespectful. Although I've had friends of mine who have filmed themselves having sex with other people and have shown me their videos, but it's been between us. They, as like they're opening up their phone and they're showing it to me and I'm looking over their shoulder, not necessarily like, oh, I'm gonna record it and I'm gonna send it to you in a DM and then I watch it that way. Like to me, that's like, yeah, y'all gotta be careful with that because you know that stuff leaks out and it gets around and it gets in the wrong hands, then what? But she's also if this is what he's been doing, she's gotta really go out there and try to prove that this is what he's been doing and where would the courts have to go to see this footage flying around somewhere or floating around somewhere, wherever it is that Diplo done posted this footage. And why have I not seen any have I seen any nudes of I don't think I've seen nudes of Diplo. I need to find them. But I mean I've seen nudes of Orville Peck. If you look real closely on social media, those exist. Speaking of and I'm the reason why I'm bringing up Orville Peck because you know he and Diplo I believe have fooled around because there have been videos of them making out. I've seen that. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding Diplo and his latest case? So basically, she has to reveal her name. I don't know what all this means. Okay, she reveals her name. Now what? Like, okay, so now when you find out who she is, what you going to do? Just try to find ways to destroy what's left of her? I just hope that if she does have enough evidence that she's willing to go forth or whatever, that she has all her I's dotted and her T's crossed. And so, and she doesn't try to, you know, run away because she's intimidated or she's going to worry about, you know, those Diplo fans possibly coming after her. So, whatever your thoughts are in this on this case, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. He said Nick Chavez and Ryan Murphy are starting a Hollywood boycott on Cooper Koch. Are they? Well, good luck with that. I don't know how they're going to do a Hollywood boycott. How you going to for what? He said after 20 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, Die with a Smile topped the Billboard Hot 100. It's Gaga's third collaboration to top the Hot 100, her sixth #1 single. And okay, so here's the question: what is going on with LG7? Because isn't that supposed to be coming out next month? We haven't heard anything about it. Since Disease didn't, you know, happen, it didn't pop. It didn't really give her the success that she had, the comeback success that she had hoped. And I think it was the fault of that video just was not good. I did not like the music video of Disease. I think she also waited too long to drop the video. Like these days, these people, y'all have spoiled these fans so damn much. They want the song and the video at the same damn time. I didn't like the video. There was the only moment that I liked about Disease was towards the end when the walls of the house was kind of closing and she was doing like this crazy choreography. But I feel like we needed a full dance moment. That's what we needed. I did not like that all black ensemble with the fan was. I was like, that looks ugly. There were just moments of this. I just felt like the video was messy. But I did like the mashup that I did post on social media, which was funny. Where you had Gaga running away from the car, and the person behind the wheel was Madonna, and it was the shot of what it feels like for a girl. So they juxtaposed the video footage from what it feels like for a girl, which I love that music video, by the way. And I'm so glad she decided to go with the remix rather than the original. I was like, yes, good choice. And you have Madonna behind the wheel in her little, you know, garage. I mean, was it the mechanical jumpsuit? Driving the car like she was going to run over Lady Gaga. That shit was funny. But good for her. And that's why they said that they're incorporating Die with a Smile on the album. I'm like, if it don't fit the concept of this industrial sound, why would you incorporate that song on the record? You're doing it because you want to sell the album rather than just following through, I guess is the word, following through with your concept of what this new record is. So I've told the Gen Z the reality is they would vote, but feel we can vote by phone and it can be secure. Doing it by paper is old school and boomerish. Why forces the well, you know what? I feel like a lot of times as this country continues to move forward, we're gonna have to come up with new concepts and change. Regarding how we receive information or other stuff, especially with voting. They need to change that up. Look, if y'all can vote for y'all favorite American damn idol on the internet and on the phone, why can't we vote for the president? But they feel like there might be some type of hackalation going on, like, you know, with Elon Musk and them. They might try to do some mess. Onyx said, was that your nephew that said that? What's your relation to who asked? I'm curious. Because I guess I would say because Onyx is Gen Z. I don't know. I was like, yeah, would they want to vote by phone? I don't know. The way our country is going with both sides is corrupt. I don't even see the point of voting. Considine said the other day he realized he got a call from Obama's team over the summer and didn't see it. Oh, because they were trying to reach out to him, I guess. They know his influence. I do believe Interscope canceled LG7, and in my opinion, they're forcing her to re-record and do a follow-up to Chromatica, especially since Katy Perry flopped. Well, here's the thing. Katy Perry's music flopped because that was some old dated-ass dance music, and we're going to get into her later on. We talk about Drag Race. Because I finally, I told you I only got to see we didn't get to see the full episode when I was at the premiere. Now we got to see the full episode because it aired on Friday. So we'll talk about that. Um, but at least with Lady Gaga, it does feel like, yeah, she's going back to the whole dark pop sound, but it does sound like it's a progression to what she did in the past. It doesn't sound like the same thing. Like Disease doesn't, it sounds like something that would fit on the Fame Monster, but it feels fresh and new. I like the song. So when you listen to it, you hear all the different, when I listen to songs, I listen for the layering and all the other stuff and all the different sounds you wouldn't have heard before in there. So I hear them, but it just, I don't know why the song didn't resonate. I would love to hear from people why Disease didn't do what needed to be done. Maybe people felt like it just wasn't what we need in this day and age musically. I don't know. But if she does, maybe she needs some poppier songs, something that's more, radio friendly, I guess. But you could do those harder edged industrial 9 Inch Nails type sounds. You just need some catchier songs. But we'll see. Just by my friends and people I work with. They said I wouldn't want to vote by phone. Yeah, you know what? I don't trust it either. So I'm with you on that. But they get to find something that is a way more secure idea that it won't be interfered with by our shady ass government. Because that's the last thing I want. Okay. Robert said, and yeah, I got backlash and drag for pushing Woman's World. You was pushing Woman's World? Oh yeah, you said it got backlash and drag for pushing Woman's World. And my friend working at Footprint said Kylie will sell out next month. Told Katy Perry, don't bring your tour here. Go to Financial Credits Union. um, how big is Financial Credits Union? I just said, because it's easy to sell out the trashy ass music. You're pushing on 143. I don't even know. Oh, you said is it like a small theater? Speaking of which, Annie's last show was yesterday. Shout out to Whoopi Goldberg and them. Oh, you talking about you talking about RuPaul's Drag Race? That yeah, there was backlash and drag for pushing Women's World, and yeah, because some people was wondering, was like, but wait, when did Women's World come out? Women's World came out around the time that they were filming the new season of Drag Race because they always shoot it during the summer of last year and for it to air in January. So around that time, I think Women's World came out like a couple of weeks after. So they had the song prior to us hearing it, and I do feel like yeah, why did y'all push that crap on them? And I was like, and watching Drag Race. Well, I'm gonna say what I was gonna say later on. I'm gonna say before when we talk about Drag Race as a whole. You said the Little Monsters are not the Swifties. They can't make a song go top 10 on the Hot 100 just by streaming it once. Gaga struggles with having mainstream appeal at times. Well, I do agree with that. She does because I think and it could be because she goes back and forth. I feel like in a way, Taylor Swift knows how to play the game, but Taylor's kind of a squeaky clean girl. Like she's not somebody who can be polarizing at times with some of the things she says and her musical choices, her fashion styles, and all other stuff. Gaga's always trying to go into the whole, oh yeah, I'm like the queen of fashion and I'm doing all these crazy things, and I'm always trying to. She comes across pretentious at times, which I know can rub people the wrong way. So I do feel like a lot of times she has mainstream appeal struggles. And I feel like, you know what? She's in her late 30s, about to push in her 40s. Does she really need that appeal from people? It's like, you know what? It's kind of like if you're a mainstream actor who, okay, it was like, okay, I'll do that big tent pole $230 million budgeted action movie that'll help you get $1 billion at the box office. But also, I need that deal where I can go off and do this little small independent film, like, the biopic of an Elton John, or like with Timothy Chalamet. He'll do like the big mainstream movie, and then he goes off and does Bob Dylan. Same thing with music. I feel like, okay, well, if the songs like Die With a Smile actually gets me the Billboard Hot 100s and gets me that appeal, I'm gonna do those so I can get the money. I can get I get the Billboard charting things and the plaques and all that other mess. But then also I can go off and do my little passion project, which would be LG7, and I can experiment and do other things. I'm not expecting it to be like a diamond selling record, but at least I get to go off and do something creative. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't particularly care for Chromatica either. I liked the cover art. There were some songs on there that I liked, but it was all over the place, and I felt like the songs was too damn short too, so that irritated me as well. By the time you get into one of the tracks, like, I don't understand why Alice was as short as it was. I'm like, this is a good song. And it's like, by the time you get into it, it's over. And I'm sick of y'all with these 2 under 3 minute damn dance songs. Oh, you said 5K. That's the same thing with the Hulu. Well, not, I said the Hulu theater chair. Um the theater at Madison Square Garden. We seat 5,000, although no shade. Annie couldn't seat that many when we was in there. They as much as they, I think as high as they will go is like 1,200. But I believe like when we were getting towards the end of the road with that, with the show, I think they're going to Chicago now, but Whoopi is not. I wonder who they're gonna have play Miss Hannigan, because she's not gonna be leaving the View to go do off and do Annie. And you said, what is the public interest in knowing her identity from that very specific time scale? Diplo must already know who she is. He probably does, because if she was saying that they had a consensual, relationship from this period to this period, and that she gave him permission to record stuff, but then he was posting it on Snapchat. If she has evidence of that, I hope she was recording screenshots and will be like, yeah, this is the timetable, and then she can present it in a court of law. So I do wonder with that. It's like, yeah, what is the public interest? Why do we need to know who she is? The premiere was filmed in May. Woman's World came out in July. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for putting that on, because I wasn't trying to do that math. So they shot it early summer. Well, oh yeah, because they always shoot like around Pride season. They always shoot it around that time. And Woman's World came out in July. So yeah, they heard the song before us. And I feel like that whole thing was a setup with Joella being on the show and then having her as Katy Perry's #1 fan again. I said, the coincidentalness of that. And that other girl that was like, when they try to pull an American Idol, you're gonna have fun. I'm like, that other queen that came on there and basically came with her little flash drive. I'm like, why is she on here? I see her being someone that ain't gonna last long either, but we'll get into the drag race stuff later. So I like Dawn of Chromatica way more than the standard Chromatica. I know you didn't like, oh yeah, I didn't like the remix album. It was just all over the place. I was like, what the hell is this I'm listening to? Funny, because yesterday I was listening to a lot of old 90s EDM music, like big beats. Like I was listening to Fatboy Slim and Prodigy and a lot of that stuff. I was like, oh, this is taking me back to my childhood. I don't know, for some, in my raver days. I don't know what it was, but for some reason it was just pulling me into that. Like I wanted to listen to that type of music. And the Chemical Brothers. Like I was listening to a lot of that yesterday. I think I was in a 90s dance music mood. But anyway, where are we going? Oh, okay, child, let's get into this mess. So Jelly Roll is the latest celebrity to give his opinion on this whole Beyonce Cowboy Carter not getting a nomination at the Country Music Awards. So while reflecting on the 2024 CMAs, Snub of Beyonce's groundbreaking album, he acknowledged its impact and stopped short of declaring it CMA worthy. So yeah, he went on, and I think also the reason why people was having a problem with what he was saying, because I think it was the reviews were mixed. He went on Andrew Schulz's podcast and gave his opinion. I don't know what the podcast is called, nor do I care, because I don't particularly care for Adolf Schulz, because that's what he gives me with his look. But I do have a clip, courtesy of the Jasmine brand, where you can hear it from his lips on what he had to say regarding the Beyonce snub. He was being a little too diplomatic, in my opinion, but here's what he had to say. Please hold.
I think that the body of art was incredible. There's no denying that. Like, I always take all politics out of it before we even talk about those. What did the art actually say? That, man, this is a slippery slope too. And I'll hang here with you because I'm willing.
Like any insight or opinion on.
You know what I mean? He's like, you'll do Morgan's part? I was like, hell no. I was like, I'll butcher it. I'll do the hook and the bridge. He's like, all right, cool.
That's fire.
Do you have like any insight or opinion on like the whole drama with Beyonce not getting nominated for any country awards?
Man, this is a slippery slope too. And I'll hang here with you because I'm willing to with my friends. I think that the body of art was incredible. There's no denying that. Like, I always take all politics out of it before we even talk about those. What did the art actually say? Was it good? Right? And the record was good. I don't know if it was Beyonce's best record. You know what I mean? It didn't make me feel the way even Renaissance made me feel as a full body of work. But there was 2 or 3 songs on there that I thought could be country song of the year for sure. What she did with Jolene Alone to me was just unbelievable, you know, and how much Dolly loved it. To me, that's the real tale, right? If Dolly loves it, it's a big deal. So my argument starts with the art. My argument is, I think she should be nominated because the art was worthy of being nominated. The flip side of the argument, and this isn't my argument, so I don't want to get crucified or nailed to this cross, is that Nashville is a small community that is trying to keep country music as a boundaryless genre. And I know boundaryless seems like, well, that's the opposite of not putting Beyonce in it, but meaning like they never allowed country to get put in subgenres like rock did. So like they've kind of like, country is one of the last genres left that you could just say there's a country music concert happening and a certain group of people will still just show up. You know what I mean? Like it don't really matter. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you could say there's a pop concert happening and somebody's going, who's going to be there?
Got it.
They could say, hey man, there's a country concert happening down the street, and people will kind of just blindly go based on the consistency of country music. That's being ran by the town of Nashville, my city, where I'm from. But this is being ran from the industry. It's like how, you know, like all the record labels are in New York for hip hop. All of them are for pop in LA, or, you know, how it used to be, whatever. Now it's kind of everywhere. But these people looked at it, the people who are the 20,000 registered, 30,000 registered voters. Like the Grammys only has that many voters, or 60,000 or something, 100,000, whatever it is, right? These people that are in that, look, they are only really hip to what's happening in Nashville. Right?
I don't know. I just felt like he was talking out of all, I don't know. As much as I like you, Jelly Roll, you were talking all over the place. And it was just hard for me to keep up with what the hell you was talking about. So I understand he's like, they want to keep it boundary or genre-less. I'm like, huh? Because y'all be mixing hip hop with country and all these other different genres and stuff. So it's okay when white people go and y'all can come and bring in a lot of those urban elements into y'all music. But the minute that black people step into these spaces, when basically Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album was opening up the conversation for the saying that black people have contributed wholeheartedly to the country music genre, even though black people are not the dominant force in the genre of country music. We have, you know, our people, our ancestors have contributed a whole lot to the genre. So I feel like that may be what the conversation should be. I don't think, like, I feel like maybe, you know, he was coming from a genuine place. I think he was too much in his head where he was worrying about, oh, people are going to come at him and people are going to drag him or whatever the case is, whatever his opinion on this is going to be, because there's never a right answer when it comes to these groups that want to get all find any little thing that y'all say and want to take it out of context and want to call you a colonizer. They want to call you all sorts of names. I also think that it wasn't the greatest place for him to go on a place like Andrew Schultz's podcast and sit with the group of them people that were sitting up in there and having this conversation. And I don't understand, why is it always that we have to get the approval or have the conversation of what white people think of this album, particularly Cowboy Carter, when the cultural significance behind the album is not something that white people can relate to. They can empathize and they can understand, but I don't think that they can relate to the context, subcontext, context, all the different nuances that was in that album. And so, yeah, he was thinking like, oh, yeah, Jolene and there's certain songs on the album. He feels like, oh, yeah, those are good country records. But all the other extra stuff that they was adding into it, it's like, yeah, that's not going to go over his head. Now, I will agree with him that I do not think Cowboy Carter touched me as much as Renaissance did. Renaissance was more up my speed. I did like more of the experimental stuff she was doing with that. And she was incorporating house music and the foundation of that and the contributions of Black queer people and the trans community and all the people that took part in, the foundation of house music. So it was like, it was the gays, it was Black folks, it was Latino folks, like we all, all people of color and queer people of color particularly have contributed to the house music disco genre. So I totally get it on that. But of course, but he's like saying that they don't fully grasp the album's significance, that Nashville doesn't. So if Nashville CMA voters didn't grasp the cultural significance, of course that's going to happen, because when you are someone who is looked at as a minority, who's jumping into this space that is predominantly dominated by white people, they're not going to see the cultural significance of what it is that Beyonce is trying to contribute to the record. And it could also, I also think that maybe her mainstream status, I mean, that probably hurts her in a way, that her being a mainstream pop act hurts her from kind of coming into this. Now, he also did mention something or another that would she, it all boils down to like if this is the genre that she's going to stay in and after Cowboy Carter. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I feel like Beyonce only did this country album to prove the naysayers wrong, but also be a, what's the word that I tend to use, an edutainer, as someone who will entertain as well as educate and try to mash all that up in the gumbo. So I feel like that's what that is as well. She already did what she needed to do with this record. She made her point. Everybody's talking about it. It's still on the tip of everybody's tongue, even long after the CMAs and came and went like a fart in the wind. And, we've all moved on, but people still talking about it. And you have people up there that's trying to, in a way, it was like, okay, y'all trying to set Jelly Roll up, but look, can't nobody set you up if you're not willing to participate. So, of course, that, the Beehive had to give their opinion on the situation. Where they said many felt that Jelly Roll was gatekeeping a genre they didn't create and accused him of being overly cautious in his statements. Well, yeah, he's got to be overly cautious, because it's like if whatever he says, y'all gonna come at him. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm a white man speaking on country music. I don't have any issues against Black folks, but I don't want people out here trying to accuse me of anything. And lest we forget, Jelly Roll was a rapper before he jumped in the country music space. And it's funny how it's easy for people like him and Post Malone to go and infiltrate the hip hop space, and Black people, per usual, will open their doors and let white people to the cookout, and y'all just be giving out invitations to every damn body that y'all see just because they have a little swag, and they throw a couple of terminologies out there. Y'all automatically be inviting people to the cookout. But when it's the other way around, I'm not saying that they have that control, but when it's the other way around, it's sort of like, oh, well, now we're being more accepted over here because we couldn't really hack it over here in this space. So we can mash up the country with the hip hop, which Jelly Roll does, as well as Post Malone. So I don't understand how it's like y'all could do the mash it up and change the things. So when y'all sit up here and talk about the purities of country music, I'm calling BS on that, because ain't shit pure about some damn country music. And yeah, if y'all want to talk about the old traditional sense, I get it. But when you have people who are doing country music and mashing in different genres, y'all do cross-pollinate in genres. Now, one fan commented on Instagram said, mayonnaise people always defend each other. We don't, but good thing is we don't need to sit at their table. We are the table. Well, yes, y'all do, because y'all was up in here talking about we don't need to sit at their table, but y'all was mad when Beyonce got snubbed. So which one is it? So it's like, y'all talk about, well, yeah, we don't need y'all stuff. We don't need to sit at y'all table. And I'm not trying to say that this person was one of those that was bitching and moaning about the fact that Beyonce wasn't getting no awards and Beyonce was snubbed and F the CMAs and all that other stuff. But there were people out here that feel like there's some, once Beyonce comes and gets the awards and stuff, then she's finally accepted and validated in spaces that she would normally be welcome in. And then also the exclusion of Cowboy Carter from the CMA nominees nominations has revived tensions about inclusivity within country music, with some pointing out the history of snubs. Beyonce herself faced backlash in 2016 when she performed with the Chicks, aka, the Dixie Chicks, at the CMAs. One fan wrote, "It would be world changing if our people stuck together like they do," expressing frustration at perceived double standards within the genre. Meanwhile, others sided with Jelly Roll, agreeing that his critique of Cowboy Carter's limited appeal. A fan noted, "I agree with him. 2 or 3 songs best was good, but I always felt the album could have been better. They're probably trying to see if she will stick with country for a while or will she jump back to her norm." Well, I don't, like I said, I do not feel like she's going to stick with country for a while. I feel like she did what she wanted to do in regards to the concept of this record. Now, in regards to the execution, do I think it works? I don't. I feel like similar to her performance at halftime, I feel like it was just a construct of ideas and it was just all over the place. And she was trying to do too much in a short amount of time. And even though the Cowboy Carter album is relatively long, I just feel like that record is all over the place. Like, it starts out great halfway, and then the second half it kind of falls off for me. But and then with the performance that she did at halftime, I just felt like, you know what, when you have set such a high bar for yourself, it's harder to reach higher than the bar you've already set. So yeah, her getting up there with Blue Ivy, seen it. Her up there with the homage to, Black excellence and stuff, seen it. The HBCU band moment, seen it. Like, all the things she incorporated is like a greatest hits of stuff she's already done in the past. It's just, okay, we changed the costume, we changed up a couple of the dance moves, but other than that, been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. So that's kind of how I felt on that. But yeah, I just want to point out to y'all the different situations that everybody was, all the different sides of the coin. I want to see if anybody said anything else. Oh, another person said he said nothing. Another person said this comment would help the album watch. They will go back and do her right. Creating a body of work takes time, effort, energy, etc. Plus, she's a wife and mother. That's a lot. She deserves way more credit, but I see it coming after this conversation because people listen to Jelly. He bona fide in that realm. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. You talking about it's going to help the album? Well, no, people still talk about it at the end of the day. As long as people are talking about the album, I think it does help it regardless. And yeah, creating a body of work does take time and effort. That is true. But what does a mother and being a mother and a wife have to do anything? There's a lot of celebrities out there who are mothers and wives and still out here working their ass off and touring. So I don't think it has anything to do with the fact of creating a body of work. So she does deserve way more credit that people are giving her. And they said, another person said, Taylor Swift is a country star, and she is actually not country, she is pop. But yeah, it's like, we've already had the conversation about white people it's easy for them to float in and out of different genres, and it's more acceptable. It's like we was talking about with Mooney Long, where she was up in here talking about how I'm not writing songs for non-melanated people. It's because y'all know that Black people are the ones who are the originators, the movers and the shakers, the people that get things done, the people that push the culture. It's Black people and the homosexuals. We the ones that push the genre. But y'all want to, dress it up in all white and alabaster and push it out there. Like with the thing about what was said about, the Britney Scream and Shout song was stolen for her, and no fault to Britney, but it's the people behind the scenes doing shady moves. The Kesha situation with Timber, and Mooney Long said that she wrote that song, was supposed to go to Flow Rider. Apparently Pitbull ended up getting his hands on it. Kesha vocals wound up on top of Mooney Long's vocals, and because she couldn't hit certain notes, they wanted Mooney to come in the studio and hit and layer her vocals under Kesha, because Kesha's voice, quiet as it's kept, is limited. No shade. But we've seen this happen many a times where Black people get pushed over for that light bright artist or that white artist, or in our case, a lot of times Jennifer Lopez, where she's been accused many a times of her songs being taken, other people's songs taken for the A. Marie situation, the Ashanti situation, so many other things that was going on with that. So I know this is a long one, but I understand what Jelly Roll was trying to say, but like I said, this is going to open up a conversation for, people's overall thoughts on the whole thing with Cowboy Carter. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. Whatever your thoughts regarding Jelly Roll's comments on Beyonce's CMA snub. I always said, like, if a real artist is not out here to just be trying to collect awards like they're tchotchkes. If you are really about that life, if you're really about the music and you love it and this is your passion, whatever, it shouldn't matter the awards and getting those type of accolades. You should be doing this because you love what you do. And who cares about awards? Beyonce's got enough awards to last her a lifetime. She's got over 3 dozen, damn near 3 dozen Grammys. So she's not hurting for an award. And if she gets snubbed, which no shade, I do not think she's getting Artist of the Year this year or Album of the Year from the Grammys. I don't think she's going to get it. But if she doesn't, I feel like, and I already know what's coming. People are going to get mad, whatever the case is. But it's like, look, she did what needed to be done. She came out here. She wanted to create something to cause a commotion and start a conversation, and that's what we're having. Even long after we've done moved on from Cowboy Carter, the conversation is still going on. So, and people are using it to go viral to have these conversations. Hence why Andrew Scholl's people is talking about it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Robert says the biggest medical threat since COVID already hit the UK. So get ready. It's about to hit. Oh, you talking about that virus that's going around in China or something or another? Sometimes those independent films do better at box office than huge budget. Nah. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. One case in point, Terrifier 3 was an independent film. That movie cost $2 million to make. It's already grossed $100 million at the box office. So when people sit up here and think, oh yeah, you need to spend damn near $500 million on a film in order to get people to go watch it, it's not true, because there's been a lot of excruciatingly expensive movies that were released and they flopped hard at the box office. He's all right for the John Wick reference. You know, I will always reference a movie. Ava Max has announced retirement from the music industry. Her latest post admits that she can't work with a person who she hates and try to work with Circuit, but she wanted to hurt him and admits, when did she retire? She can't work with him after taking a year off. It's best if she retires because the anger she has, and she can't forgive him for having 3 kids with another woman behind her back. Well, she don't need to work with Circuit. Let Lady Gaga have him. He produced Disease. So, you know, Ava Max, there's other people out here you can work with. And it's funny because I'm watching season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and Ava Max was the guest celebrity judge on the last episode that I just watched. And that was the episode where they did Night of 1,000 J-Los and Alyssa Summers went home. So that was when I was watching. But she said she's going back to civilian life. You don't understand people giving up their dreams because of these toxic ass people. Ain't nobody running me out this industry. All this gimmickry with the horse cowboy outfits and stuff is tiring to country people. That's why J-Ho is finished. Well, we'll see if people are over J-Lo. I'm sure Hannaford, because we almost forgot we call her that. We'll see if Hannaford's music career is in the toilet. It depends on what that next album is. Because I feel like if she cannot rebound with something like some kind of evolution or whatever, post This Is Me Now, and that album flops, girl, you might as well just give it up and just be like Janet Jackson and just do residencies in Vegas. That's what you need to do at this point, because you effed up with the music career. Like, you really didn't take it seriously, and I feel like you just didn't grow your fan base. You know, when you're making music, you gotta consistently feed the base. Feed the children. Pop the corn and feed the children. Madonna shared, Jennifer are insufferable. Go sit down and take care of your kids. Well, who said Madonna isn't taking care of her kids? First of all, she has 4 young ones. Well, one of them is old enough because David don't live in the house no more. I don't know what's going on with Mercy. She probably still lives there. And then we got the twins. Cher's kids is grown. So, exactly. They didn't get many awards. You know, Madonna didn't start winning Grammys until she did Ray of Light. So, I don't understand why people get so hung up. Yes, I wasn't meaning to use a Madonna reference, but I did. Why people get so hung up on awards? I don't feel like now, especially in this era, I feel like the fandom gets so caught up in all of that. Oh, my fave didn't win. I'm so mad. Okay. That's not why a lot of people do it. Now, maybe there are some people that do it for that reason, but if you only in it to win awards, then you're in the wrong industry. Okay. Okay, so where we going? So let's get into this 50 Cent story, because apparently, speaking of Vegas and residencies, 50's being dragged and saying his residency is horrible, which I'm not surprised in a way, because I'm like, what did you expect? Like, when you go to a 50 Cent concert, I'm assuming, because I've seen him, he's made appearances at the Garden, like during people said, I remember during Andrew Schultz's comedy set towards the end, he came out and did like a medley of his hits. Also during the first leg of Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday 2 tour, he came out and did like a medley. So I was assuming that that's what you're going to get. You basically going to get him on a stage with some hype men and some dancers, him shouting his lyrics. It's probably going to be a DJ up there that's going to do like a medley of his songs. I don't know if he's doing the songs all the way through. So it's like, yeah, you're going to get somebody walking back and forth on stage, shouting out they rap lyrics. And that's what you're paying for. If you're expecting razzle dazzle, if you're expecting a Kylie Minogue, Janet Jackson, Christina Aguilera type spectacle at a 50 Cent concert, then clearly you don't know 50 Cent. So, or what you in for. So that's kind of what, in my mind, what I would expect if I'm going to go see a 50 Cent in a residency. So during a recent residency show, Fifth addressed the negative comments in a joking manner, first mentioning the critique that the show's audio was bad. Now, he's running around saying he's unbothered about a review of his residency. But if you unbothered, then why are you addressing it? Now, as the crowd laughed, Fifth went on about what he chooses to do on stage. He said, "What you thought? I'm gonna be out here rollerblading like Usher? I seen some shit. Chris Brown was flying to Africa. I don't have the records that require me to fly in Africa." Now, with everyone roaring for him to continue, Fifth decided to go back to his signature motion and asked the crowd if they would do it with him. He said, "If y'all not tired, let me see y'all put y'all hands up one for me." Phil's comments came days after Jennifer Gay, who posts Vegas travel tips for her 1 million Instagram followers, expressed her disappointment with one of his recent residency shows, saying 50 Cent's Las Vegas residency might be the worst show that's ever come to Vegas. This is what she said in a voiceover to her video review that was shared on Instagram. The theater was mostly full and people seemed to be excited about it, but take a minute to listen and then I'll share why I thought it was terrible. Saying the sound of the theater was terrible and the hype men were louder than him for the entire show. He spoke once only to say he was doing 6 shows and then he was done. He performed 84 minutes and then walked off stage. It really felt like he didn't want to be there. Those were not cheap seats. Well, it's probably because, he's getting paid a lot of money and that's all 50 Cent, to me, it seems like all he cares about. And you get a lot of these people out here that just be spending all this money on shows and all this other stuff. Because I be at the Garden, people be telling me, in certain sections I be working, they be like, "Oh yeah," because when I worked like a bullfighting thing that we had over the weekend. Yeah, we host bullfighting shows too, and I have to tell you, some of the cowboys up there, I was like, "Ooh, how y'all doing with the tight jeans on and the cowboy?" I felt like I was in Texas, but anyway, so. Some people be like, when they make their little off-putting situations, like even the Rangers tickets, Knicks tickets, all those stuff, they be like, "Oh yeah, I pay like $400 a pop for these seats." I'm like, "Well, good luck to y'all. I'm glad I work here and I get to see all this shit for free, because ain't no way in hell I'm paying all that kind of money for an event where I could just take it all in and have the memory of seeing a multitude of shows instead of having to like flip a coin." And like some people at this day and age now where, there have been stories about, well, I want to go to this event or that event or Coachella or this festival and all this other stuff, and I can't because tickets are a freaking arm and a leg, and it's becoming so freaking expensive to even want to go out and have a good time and see a really good show. So I don't know. Like personally, I like 50 Cent with the trolling. I like some of his what he's doing in the TV space and being a mogul and a producer and a developer of projects. But as far as the music goes, I was never like a really big 50 Cent fan, so I was not paying no kind of money to go see him, quiet as it's kept. And I've seen him before, because I told you, when he's come to the Garden many a times and he's kind of just popped up on stage, I've seen what he gives. So I know what he was going to give, which I'm not surprised. But of course, let's ignite an old ass feud from like the 2000s. Or was it the 2010s? Because Ja Rule decided to jump into the conversation, and clown Fifth for his review, posting on Twitter with the message, not the worst, ... and laughing emojis. He also agreed with someone that his music aged better than his rivals. Now, Gay reacted to Fifth's response, writing on Twitter, she said, I stand by my authentic and honest review, both as someone who is a genuine fan of 50's work and someone who reviews things by Vegas standards full time. The audio and production did not live up to Vegas standards on opening night, and I was disappointed. Subsequent nights look much better with special guests and clear audio. No disrespect to 50 or his team. So it could have been like the first show. That's why I will never pay for the first show of any concert, because I always feel like the first night is that you the crash test dummy. Like y'all literally, it's you could do your run through and your rehearsal and all that other stuff. And I don't know if 50 Cent actually showed up to do a sound check. I don't know if he did, but a lot of times it's like, yeah, I got to make sure that audio and everything is working perfectly. And the first night is always like, there's going to be some kinks and there's going to be a little mess that's going to happen. It's not going to be a perfect show, which is why, like I said, I would never pay to see an opening night show, because that's the crash test dummy event. That's like, okay, just expect that the show is not going to go as smoothly if it does. If it does, it's a miracle. But for the most part, there's probably going to be some audio issues or whatever. But like I said, that is what the sound check is for. And I don't know if 50 Cent actually showed up to do a sound check, because I know he's in the process of having the new studio. Like he's getting his Tyler Perry bag on, which is like developing his own, studio and coming up with projects and stuff in that case. So I'm say all this to say, have you seen 50 Cent's show in Vegas? And what do you guys think of the show based off of if you've been there or some of the clips that you've seen on social media? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. He said, Mercy is 18. The twins are 11. She has 2 kids that is happy to watch the twins. Look at her working. They even use Spotify numbers. I said, Madonna's fine. Trust me and believe. She's raising them kids. And she, the kids are always with her. The kids are always, one thing I will say about Madonna, you have never heard nothing bad between her and the kids. Now, maybe there was a period where she was going through it with Rocco, but they managed to work it out. And that was around the time when, she was going through her bitter custody battle and stuff with Guy Ritchie. So there was a lot of back and forth battling with there. And I think Rocco was trying to find his place in the world, because his mother is like one of the biggest stars on the planet. And he's trying to find his own identity growing up as a young man in this crazy world. So they were kind of going back and forth, but they managed to work it out. And we said people need to stop discussing anything culturally sensitive with or around Andrew. Not Andrew Schmuck. Okay, I can't stand him. But you know what I call him? I call him Adolf Scholes. He said his MO is to shit start. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I'm like, Jelly, why would you even do that? Like, first of all, I told you I worked Jelly Roll's concert. Was it Beautifully Broken? And I think it was before the album came out. He came and did a show with the Garden. One of the nicest guys. He shakes everybody's hand. He's very polite. Bunny, of course, was with him. That's his wife. And I have no ill will against Jelly Roll. I like him. I wasn't somebody who was necessarily into his music, but watching him perform and all the work that he puts in, I was like, I was well and truly impressed. Like, there's people I have opinions of them, and then when I watch them perform, I was like, you know what? I've seen you perform, so I'm gonna give you a little slack. And I think like he is a phenomenal artist, and he definitely is somebody who has the ear of a lot of the people. But yeah, I just felt like he shouldn't have went on a show like Andrew Scholes and having that conversation with him and a lot of those, clucking hens that he had sitting up there next to him. Because we already know what y'all trying to do. Y'all trying to have a moment. Andrew's up there trying to instigate and start some mess, because like when they mentioned the whole thing about, well, this is a slippery slope or whatever, and then he starts, like he giggles. And it's like, we see what you over here doing. Like you just doing the awkward laugh because y'all trying to stir up some mess over here. You don't want to get caught up in that. Jelly. You don't want to get caught up in the mess. So it'd have been nice if maybe, if this conversation was had, if he would have went on like maybe the Breakfast Club, even though I don't particularly care for none of them over there, or maybe even Lip Service with Angela Yee. If he actually sat down and had a conversation, well, maybe they would have worked over there. Because, Miss Jasmine for the Jasmine brand is, does things with her. Or maybe you could have went, I don't know, you could have went on the Joe Budden podcast. I don't even think he does like interviews. I just think he just literally gives his opinion with his all his people up there, and that's it. But if you would have went on somebody Black show, I think maybe that would have been more of a conversation where people can kind of go back and forth and discuss it. It's someone who understands music and that whole thing, instead of going on that man's show, Adolf shows, and then the mess what they was conducting over there. Jay Thurwell basically said a show like X Factor or The Voice can't exist today. And she shot that in the States, they still do. But she's like, wait, so those shows don't exist? Like the X Factor and The Voice doesn't exist overseas? Because I could have sworn they still have a lot of those shows. But look, the reason why it works in America is because that was more celebrity driven. So when you have like the Gwen Stefanis and all these other people doing the judging, we remember more or less the judges than the contestants. I don't see the point of American Idol. I feel like once they canceled it the first time, they should have left it canceled instead of bringing it back. When she was told no, then she said, if you're not making a superstar, why keep the TV show on? Because, that's why I don't understand that either. Because it's like, the whole goal of The Voice, the whole goal of, well, we don't have the X Factor no more. Because the X Factor over in the US died when, wasn't Britney on that show? That show didn't even last long over here. I just don't think it resonated. And I just feel like the way we discover musicians and stars now is not the same way that we did when I was growing up. This is pre-internet, so we needed an American Idol in order, because that was the era of we're going to find talent by them coming in and we'll produce it as a TV show, rather than now they find people on TikTok, or they find people on, before them, Justin Bieber, they found him on YouTube. By the time Madonna got to Phoenix, I felt the show fixed all the hiccups. Taylor Swift opening shows has been smooth, but from reading it, it's because the sound check was done many times, saying that they did the full show 3 times. Yeah, it's like you have to do a whole run through. You have to make sure the audio and everything is on point. You got to show up for that too. And I feel like a lot of times you do get those stories where artists do not show up for their sound checks. They just walk up on the stage, give me my mic, give me my earpiece. I get out on the stage. We're going to do the show. We're going to wing it, and that's it. And a lot of times when you watch it, it shows the half-assedness. But when you have professionals like a Taylor Swift and Madonna does full run-throughs of her show too. She'll perform it, the full thing, a choreography and everything, to get, the feel of the stage. But it's obvious the venues need to be renovated and reworked because the technology is so advanced. It is too advanced, because some of the audio, depending on certain situations, the audio is not as up to par. So I do feel like a lot of times we do need to work out the overall sound and audio when it comes to these situations. Because sometimes the audio don't be hitting. Because I never heard of any tech fuck ups when Madonna went to venues open in the 2000s or just brand new. And a lot of times you have to think of this. When you look at like the Garden or any type of arena, people are renting out these spaces. The artists who are coming there, they bring all that stuff in there and they take it with them. So the load in, the load out, they bring all that stuff in there. That's not the Garden's responsibility. The Garden is only providing you the space. And then the people come in, they, not record, they buy a ticket or whatever the case is. But for the most part, like the speakers, the audio, the visuals, the screens, all that stuff, the stage setup, all of that is brought in by their people. We said, because the internet was around for a long time. So not pre-internet, but it's like, before we had like social media or the technology is what it is today. America, because the internet was around when American Idol came around. It wasn't as it was now because we had MySpace. So, and remember when we did our top 9? I'm a child. That's how I met so many famous people. When, New York club people, was because I was friends with a lot of them on MySpace, and that was also a way that a lot of artists was putting their stuff out, like music and stuff. They was using MySpace. Okay, so let's get into the Cynthia Erivo story, who basically she wants Nene leaks, or as I like to say, her full government Nene Lanithia week. Nene Lanithia leaks. Say that 10 times fast. She want her back on the Housewives of Atlanta. But for your mouth to God's ear, sis. So Cynthia Erivo is a fan of Roa, Well, she said the Real Housewives. But, the Tony, Grammy, and Emmy winning actress and singer has opened up about her love of Bravo, calling for the return of one former Bravo star in particular. And here's the thing, if Cynthia Erivo wins an Oscar, she will be an EGOT. So shout out to you, sis. You're an egged, but you're not a EGOT. So that means Emmy, Grammy, and Tony winner. So the Wicked actress and singer is one of the 16 stars covering W Magazine's Best Performances issue. And in her interview with the outlet, Erivo cited Roa as her favorite reality show. She says, I also love Potomac. The 37-year-old added of The Real Housewives of Potomac. It's fantastic. They're very honest, which I like. Also, there's no fighting or physical. Because they be going ham over there on Potomac. There's no fighting or fisticuffs, but they will read each other crazily. Atlanta definitely gets a little rowdy, though. Well, yeah, that is true. They do read over there on Potomac. Now, she wasn't the only one sharing her love for the series. Coleman Domingo also named Roa his favorite reality show when asked about it in his W cover story. I do like it when they fight, he said. I think that's the appeal. And you know what? I guess I'm pretty okay if I don't have this kind of drama with anybody. But you know what? That's about to make Andy Cohen's butsy pucker. Because anybody that like any of them shows that he created over there at Bravo, you already know that Andy gonna jump up on the conversation and just be like, oh, you a Housewives fan? And he definitely gonna want you on the show. So I don't know if Cynthia's been on the show already, and I don't know if Coleman Domingo's been on the show already, because I don't watch What Happens Live. I only see it sometimes if it goes viral or something or another, and, it may be like the Page 6 or something or another is talking about any one of the Bravo celebrities and any drama that's going on with that. But other than that, I do not watch What Happens Live. So I don't know if they've been on the show, but I guess if they haven't, they're going to be asked on because he knows they're Housewives fans. So they said, asked by Lynn Hirschberg if Erivo was a fan of Roa alumna Nene Leakes, the Tony Award, Grammy Award, and Emmy Award winner offered her enthusiastic support. Say, I am a Nene Leakes fan. I love her, who, like Leakes, is a Broadway veteran. The Golden Globe nominee then urged Bravo to return Leakes to the franchise. Saying, where is she? Bring her back, please. She's great. Now, Leakes was 57, was one of the original stars of Roa when the series premiered on Bravo in October 2008. Her quick wit, hilarious reads, and no-nonsense attitude helped catapult the series to success. And then, she was on the show until, I guess, she got fired. There was some drama that went on behind the scenes. Y'all already know that, when she tried to sue Bravo and called out a lawsuit, saying that they were being, I guess, discriminatory against her, or discriminative, I should say, against her. And, she's gone off and done other things because of the success of the Housewives. She went off and did shows like Glee and The New Normal. And then, she had left after season 12 in 2020. So it's been almost like 5 years since we've seen it on our screens. And look, there are rumors circulating that Nene may be coming back to the Housewives. I have heard some rumblings that they are going to try to introduce her in a big major way. I don't know if it's going to be this season or it might be around when they do the following season. But things have been chummy with her, because you notice she was doing stuff with NBC Universal. What was it, last year? So there's been rumblings about that. And I did hear some tea that apparently because remember when her and Bethany were supposed to do a podcast together? So apparently her and Bethany were supposed to do a podcast together. And then there was some word going around that she and Andy kind of like had a thing together. They met up, had a powwow, bygones are bygones. And things are smoothed over with her and NBC. First of all, Nene is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I understand, like, at one point she got too big for her britches. Her ego was all, out into the next planet over, or out in the atmosphere, way outside of the earth. Because at one point she was feeling herself. And I do agree with that. And there was some ways about her that was a huge turnoff. But I feel like with time and things, she has learned her lesson. And no shade, but the Housewives of Atlanta has not been the same. And, since she's been gone, I have not really been, I kind of taken a gander every now and again at the Housewives of Atlanta. But last season, after the first 2 episodes, I was like, this show is unwatchable. The season before that, I glanced a little bit. I wasn't feeling it. So the show really hasn't been the same. And I honestly don't know what to expect with this upcoming season, especially the drama that happened between Kenya Moore and one of the new girls, Brittany Edie, and that whole RP situation that happened at the hair salon that we all heard about in the media. I hope they leave all that stuff in so that when we get to see, because that's going to be a juicy situation for y'all to cut all that out because something that Kenya did is, disgusting, and rightfully so. Y'all gonna ruin the show because who's gonna keep the show afloat and interesting? I don't think Phaedra is gonna be enough to keep to get all of us to come up in the show, especially when she comes in later on, not in the beginning. So leave all the Kenya stuff in, and then leave the show as what it is, what you filmed, and then keep it moving. Because if y'all gonna edit out all the Kenya stuff, I'm not gonna watch because I'm gonna be bored. Because I don't think any of these other girls are gonna be able to hold it. I don't think Portia is enough to keep the show interesting. I do feel like y'all need to bring Nene back because Nene is shady. Nene is with the Reeds, and Nene is a cackle. And I saw that recent interview that Carlos King did with Miss Lawrence, where he was asking him about and this is factual. I know a lot of y'all get mad over this, on how a lot of these girls, when they came in with the Reeds and certain things that they were saying, it was yeah, behind every glamorous Nene Leakes type, there is a homosexual that's teaching them how to pop a fan or say certain things or come out with a read or some shadiness or using our vernacular, which a lot of you women have been using over the years in a lot of these shows. You have been using our vernacular. We the ones that was going around talking about reading and shade and Miss Thing and Miss Mama, all this stuff, all the certain terminology that comes from the homosexuals of color. So when y'all want to sit up here thinking that these reads were developed, when you look at people like a Nene Leakes or a Tamar Braxton, y'all take a lot of our isms and y'all have made a profit off of our isms and some of the vernacular. So I'm here for Nene coming back to Atlanta, but I want to hear from y'all. Do y'all think that Nene could be the recipe that saves and possibly breathes some much needed light into the Real Housewives of Atlanta? I don't know, with this season, what could we expect? But I don't have that many high hopes off the upcoming season. But as like Cynthia said, I would love to see Nene back on the show. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, Felix is in the building. He said Madonna started using screens during the Drown World Tour. Yeah. You said the Who's That Girl tour had those 80s screens. Screens always existed, but was always minimal. But yeah, well, the more you go on, the bigger they get, right? Nicki Minaj she got to host the reunion of Potomac. And I think it was because it was a sensitive situation where people was feeling okay, regarding allegations of colorism and racism and stuff, you can't have an Andy Cohen who, quiet as his cat, or maybe not so quiet. Some people feel fetishizes black men or men of color because he does hunch a lot of them. Trust and believe, I know. He ain't hunch this, but I know people who have slept with him. And they don't feel like he is the right person that could be set up in here moderating these type of conversations when it comes to allegations of colorism. So when you have these predominantly or all black led shows, Andy Cohen is not the right person to be up there to have these type of conversations. So they felt, let's bring Nicki Minaj in. But I do feel like in certain situations, when it comes to certain shows, maybe you should have some people come in and host. RuPaul don't do all the reunions. I don't even think they do reunions anymore of a lot of these shows. And it's probably because these shows are so overproduced now that it's there's no drama really on these shows anymore. But now we didn't get a reunion of season 16 of Drag Race, but T.S. Madison did hers at DragCon with Bring Back My Girls, which it works in that way. You bring somebody in to ask the questions and do the things that will understand and can bring in those nuances rather than having an Andy Cohen do it. So I do think, especially with the reunions, they need to kind of change it up a bit. But him and that ego and how much of an attention whore he is, he's not going to let somebody else come in. Bravo is willing to do anything for ratings, even if it's bringing back their most loved housewife. Mm-hmm. They said technically Nene helped create the show. Yeah, not only that, but look, she even said she gave the idea for Watch What Happens Live, and the reunions. And remember, at one point it was called Watch What Happens when they were doing the reunion, and that was the episode when she was on the thing, and they were doing an after show, and then and then Kim called in, and she was like, "Close your legs, the married men, trash box hooker, and all that other stuff." That was a Watch What Happens episode. That wasn't even like a reunion or whatever the case was. So, and I think at one point they started calling reunions Watch What Happens instead of they just call it like then they just flat out called it the reunion. But that was in the infant stages. Now they said, "Who's that girl?" So I had the screens they used to use in schools when they showed film strips, except the monitor she had when she sang "Where's the Party?" People want Andy or child. You see, I ain't really talk about that on this show because that was a mess. Him so desperately up there trying to be controversial and messy, and it's like there were some people that was particularly talking about why does he have to make his whole identity has to be based on him being a homosexual. That's what people were saying. Like they felt like your whole identity is wrapped in you being a idiot. And it's like, is that all you are? Is that all that you're made up to be? Like, there's got to be more to you than this. And a lot of times he's just so annoying and insufferable. And people equate being funny with being annoying. It's like, no, you're not funny. You're just annoying. And stop trying to be something you're not. You're not a comedian. So, but to be honest, I don't really watch a lot of those New Year's things. I don't watch him. I don't watch Ryan Seacrest. A lot of those things are stupid. Y'all already know where I was. I was working. That's where I was on New Year's Eve. I was at the Garden doing the Fish concert. Which, sidebar, I do not understand, and this is not me judging, but maybe kinda. I don't understand parents who bring their children to a Fish concert. The amount of drugs and things people are using, like with the weed and all, and you're exposing your kids to that, like, and there's nothing we could do about like trying to stop the whole weed smoking and all that other stuff. But why would you bring your little kids to a? But I'm like, look, y'all do whatever y'all want. I just don't understand it though. Cleveland said, "Just got home. I'm showering, but I can hear you." But I do got a big mouth. Last year, people were wondering if he had. Oh yeah, that's what was like. Yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot about that. We talked about Diplo earlier. It was like, yeah, he said he did that. He's doing acid, but he said he did a minor dose. And then here you got Andy doing the booger sugar. I wouldn't be surprised if he did a couple of bumps before they went live. And then you got Anderson Cooper uptight ass standing next to him. Quiet as his kept. Anderson should have probably used some of that stuff too. Loosen up a little bit. Loosen up my buttons, babe. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's move on. And let's talk about Christina, who was tired of y'all talking about her damn weight. So in a video shared on IG Tuesday, this was last week, Aguilera shared countless rude comments about her appearance. Now on December 31st, the five-time Grammy winner, who's 44, posted a video montage on Instagram reflecting on 2024 for New Year's Eve. And hold on, I had to go look for it. I was like, let me pull that up so y'all can see the background. I was like, this is a cute little outfit. I think this is when she went to like Japan or something or another, because I do remember this look. I had to mute it because I don't know, there might be some music and I'm not trying to get in trouble. So yeah, she was posting like a plethora of the comments where they said, "Did you just get younger?" And others said, "Genuinely feel like I've stepped into a time machine." Then they said, "Wait, what am I back in 2002?" Another person said fake. And another person said, "So who are you and what have you done with the real Christina?" Another person said, "I wouldn't have recognized her if I didn't hear her voice." And they said, "What is this, witchcraft?" So I'm like, look, there was, I don't think that's her. Another person said, "Location of the Fountain of Youth, please." Another person said, "That can't be Christina Aguilera." And it said, "Undetectable error." And I'm like, why would y'all even think that? First of all, yeah, a lot of people like myself, Brittany, Christina, Justin Timberlake. Well, we can't put him in here. He looked like he aging horribly. But Pink, Usher, Beyonce, we're all in the same age range. What is a 40 plus person supposed to look like? What is a 44-year-old supposed to look like? What is a 43-year-old supposed to look like? Was a 42-year-old supposed to look like? And yet it was a period where Christina was looking a little messy, where she was like, she had put on a lot of weight and she wasn't looking really good. But now she's in it looked like she in her Harajuku era. I was like, let me pull that picture up. Do we have it? Yeah, we do. It's like, look, she's in her Harajuku era. She looks really good here. She looks youthful. I don't know why people think like, okay, if you're 44, then you're supposed to look like you're old as hell. It's like my generation's 44 is not my parents' generation's 44 or my grandparents' generation's 44. There was one guy I saw yesterday that said he was 38 years old. And I looked at it, I was like, damn, that's a hard 38. So she said this year doing something a little different. This is a reminder to everyone that you are your own storyteller in your own life. No one else can dictate who you are. No one deserves an explanation. I am evolved enough to know that nothing comes easy and no one is perfect. Everyone will judge you, no matter what you do and/or what you don't do. Acceptance comes with accepting yourself first and the difficult journey it takes sometimes to get there, she wrote. I celebrate everyone taking the time to put one step in front of the next every day in order to build the next version of themselves for the better, allowing yourself grace, patience, and respect. Now, and it's because everybody is so caught up in her overall appearance and saying that she is on the Ozempic and all that other stuff. And look, we don't know if she's on the Ozempic. Maybe she did do diet and exercise. And she's still young enough where she's got a pretty quick metabolism that she could shed the pounds. Now, is it a possibility that she probably used a little bit of that to help shed a lot of that heavy weight that she was carrying around? Possibly. But just because you use it to kickstart a situation don't necessarily mean you go and abuse it. Because then you have to continue to keep up the whole idea of just like, you know what, I got to diet, exercise, I still do all those things. So now back in August, Aguilera opened up to glamour about how her body image has shifted over the years after experiencing body shaming as a young artist. The genie in a bottle singer said that obsession with her weight throughout her career was difficult to navigate and admitted that much of her self-esteem was determined by how skinny she was. Saying when you're a teenager, you have a very different body than you are in your 20s. I started to fill out, and then that was unacceptable because it was like, oh, she's getting thicker. Then I had industry people. They liked your body and how you were as a skinny teenager. Now, over the years, Aguilera said that she learned not to let what others think about her body impact her, saying, I have a maturity now where I just don't give a fuck about your opinion. If I'm not going to take it on. It must be your responsibility to take up space. Other people's opinions of me are not my business. Well, RuPaul always says that what you think of me is none of my business. So, Christina and anybody in general, just go off, live your best life, do what you need to do. If whatever makes you happy should make you happy. I do feel like it is kind of gross when you have like, especially because we always talk about this, like how many PDF files y'all got running around and perverts running around this industry where it's like, that's why they want to keep them young and naive and wet behind the ears because y'all be so fixated. Oh, well, why your body don't look the same way it does than when you was like 14 or 15? Have you not gone through puberty? Do you not know how bodies work? Like some people develop later in life. There's some people that just be stick figures until about 17, 18. And then when they hit about 19, 20, 21, they gain boobs, they gain a butt, they gain hips, they get thick in the thighs. And it's like, I'm a woman. I'm not a child anymore. So yeah, I'm going to be a little curvaceous. I'm going to have a little, booty and, thicker thighs and a small waist, and my boobs are going to start growing a little bigger. It's the same thing with guys. Like some dudes will turn out to be like looking like Timothy Chalamet today, like 28 or Troye Sivan. And then by the time they hit 29, 30, and all of a sudden they become, Nicholas Galitzine after he done hit the gym to play He-Man. So people's bodies are different. And we got to stop judging people for what they are now. Look, if she out here using Ozempic, that's on her. Like she the one that got to deal with the side effects. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, Christina looks good. The body is snatched for the gods, and having all that extra weight off of you, she probably can move around a lot more. And she looks like she's in the best shape of her life. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding Christina and people judging her appearance? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Cleveland said, there's people at my age I wouldn't date because they look older than my I'm in a relationship with a 35-year-old, as you should be. It's like, look, it should be like a short situation where it's like, look, when I get to be in my 50s, in my 60s, I'm dating somebody I ain't going to 20s. Them days is gone. Although, since I'm in my early 40s, I would probably do 35-ish. Or maybe earlier. I might do 30. But no, I'm not doing nobody's children because I'm like ill. But if you're mature, I probably would, I probably would take a gander. But look, my thing is gonna be 35 and up. And I'm like, yeah, I can't see myself getting with some. I mean, it depends on the situation that I would date somebody older. I mean, when I was younger, I was always going out with older guys. But, it is what it is. Oh, well, thank you. Said congratulations. I was watching one of your videos and it cut to a sponsor ad. Well, look, child, I need these sponsors because my rent just went up, so I need a little extra coin. So the sponsor ads, I definitely need those. And I see a lot of people was responding to my because I cut it up. I did the damn, what the hell is that one? The Austin Will video. Also did one. They wanted me to look into his manager and all that stuff because they said they kind of just flew under the radar and they've been real quiet. So that one, the Kate Beckinsale one, got a lot of hits. So I definitely appreciate all the new people that's coming in that have been liking all the shows and watching the clips and stuff. And I did pay attention to my because I was looking at the overall assessment, the algorithms and all that other stuff, and they said that people who come back are responding more to the shorter clips. So I do all of this for the regulars, but for the most part, it's like, yeah, I do the clips, I cut them up, they watch the shorter videos, and people tend to gravitate towards those a lot more. So I knew the minute I started doing those shorts that it would help the channel grow, because I feel like if I would just did the regular 3, 4, 5 hour show, the numbers wouldn't be there, but the numbers are definitely in the shorter shows. So that's why I was like, even this year, I was going to try to experiment a little bit and do lesser topics during the day if I'm going to be doing multiple shows a week. So thank you for that. And yeah, thank you for me having over 2K followers. I didn't see how many that I have now. I was like, let me go over and be nosy and take a look. Because I see a lot of people was talking about Miss Raj. I mean, not Raj. Oh yeah, Raja did a video yesterday on my girl, what's her name, the one that we're gonna be talking about. I was like, how many people do I have? Oh, current subscribers 2024. So the numbers and stuff are doing well. But the top video right now in the last 48 hours, Kate Beckinsale. The second one is Luigi Mangione and Diddy, and the third one is the one we watching now. The one that I'm doing live now, that's a third top video. So I have a lot of people in the live because they're probably waiting to hear what I got to say on the Vivienne, which, yeah, that's going to be the next topic. So stay tuned for that. And you said, speaking of weight loss, have you seen LaToya? You talking about LaToya Jackson? That's why I said one time, I don't know who I was looking at. Is it LaToya Jackson or was that Tina Knowles? Because you can't tell me they're not the same person. You said, can you do tiers like on YouTube? I'll pay $10 a month so you'll get paid. I think I can do. Wait, if you actually look on the side or whatever for YouTube, I think it does tell you that there are tiers where you could send in money, but I have to look into that. The whole $10 a month. Oh, wait, what are we talking about? Oh, you said LaToya lately. Well, you said the Vivienne. I'm confused. Well, you said, and do a Discord. That way we can do a reaction to TV shows, album, and movies. That way you can't get copywritten. I was looking into that too because I was like, should I do a Patreon? I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, should I do a Patreon also as a way to supplement my income? Because I do want to start doing reviews. Especially because, Madonna has a new album coming out. There's a couple of people who have albums coming out. And I think I want to actually do like reactions to shows and albums and movies and get into that. So I have been thinking about that. So there's a lot for me to think about in regards to that. But maybe I do need to look into Discord. $50 a whole pack. What, on YouTube? I have to look at that. $50. Jesus. Because you talked about Roger's video, but forgot Vivienne's name. Oh yeah, thank you. It was like, yeah, I did see, like, I saw her live yesterday. I watched a little bit of it. where she was talking about the Vivienne. But there was a lot of queens that was talking about the Vivienne yesterday. But speaking of the Vivienne, let's get into that. But now before we windmill on Tyra dusty ass, let's get into the Vivienne at first. We're gonna do the praisation. So sad news as yesterday, it came out all over social media that the drag artist was born James Lee Williams in Colwyn Bay, Wales, had passed away. And, she competed on Drag Race All-Star Season 7, and she was the only non-US winner invited to participate. She also won her season of Drag Race UK. I believe it was Season 1. And so Simon Jones, her rep, announced their death, on Twitter on January 5th. So that was yesterday. Now, cause of death has not been provided. It is with it's with immense sadness that we let you know that our beloved James Lee Williams. I do have the whole situation here, which, hold on as I pull that up for y'all, because I want to show it to y'all on the Twitter. So that way y'all can read it. So it says, it is with immense sadness that we let you know our beloved James Lee Williams, the Vivienne, has passed this weekend. James was an incredibly loved, warm-hearted, and amazing person. Their family are heartbroken at the loss of their son, brother, and uncle. They are so proud of the wonderful things James achieved in their life and career. We will not be releasing any further details. We please ask that James' family are given the time and privacy they now need to process and grieve. So they're asking for, let them deal with what they're dealing with over there, as they should, which, Vivienne has been keeping busy over the years. But, in addition to Drag Race, they appeared on such reality competitions as Celebrity Mastermind, Celebrity Karaoke Club, and Dancing on Ice. They also served as a host on Netflix's Still Watching Netflix YouTube channel. Now, of course, the tributes began pouring in, where from the Drag Race community with the following. The Drag Race account wrote the following. They said, "We are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of the Vivienne. Her talent, humor, and dedication to the art of drag were an inspiration. She will be dearly missed, but her legacy will live on as a beacon of creativity and authenticity. She embodied what it means to be a true champion. Our hearts go out to her family and friends at this difficult time." So, also, World of Wonder, the production company behind Drag Race, posted, "We are heartbroken to learn of the passing of James Lee Williams, aka the Vivienne, this weekend. Her talent, humor, and kindness were an inspiration. She received so much in her career and will be greatly missed. Our deepest condolences go out to her family and friends who request the time and privacy required to grieve." Michelle Visage jumped in and said, "Heartbreaking. I don't know how to say how I feel. My darling, at the Vivienne _. We go back to when I started coming over here to the UK. You were always there, always laughing, always giving, always on point. Your laughter, your wit, your talent, your drag. I love all of it, but I love your friendship most of all. You are a beacon to so many. Seeing you make your West End debut was amazing for me to witness your dream come true right in front of my eyes. I'm the lucky one to have known you and have laughed together with you so many times. I love you, my darling. You will be missed, my lovely. May your light shine fiercely forever. R.I.P. my angel, fly high." Because I think also, if I'm not mistaken, she did some sort of, hold on, because I think I have the information in here on like what she had done post Drag Race, where it was like she competed, as we already said, the Dancing on Ice the same year, and I think she was doing some other shows as well, where she played the Wicked Witch in the West End of the West in the UK and Ireland tour of The Wizard of Oz musical, and reprised the role and in the West End at the Gillian Lynn Theatre last year. She was actually due to be back on tour next month, performing in the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang musical in the role of the child catcher. So she was out here working and she was doing things, but which got a lot of people wondering. It's like, what happened? I know people are still genuinely curious, but like I said, we're just going to let the people do what they need to do. I think the police had said there was no kind of foul play or anything. That was the latest, but we still don't know what the cause was. Now, Shea Coulee said, I'm in complete and utter shock. This is so devastating. And, because they competed on All-Stars in the past. Not on the same season, but Shea Coulee, or did they? Because was Shea Coulee on the All-Stars one? I'm trying to remember. Did she do All-Stars 1? Well, the winter season? I don't think she did. I can't remember. Now, Candy Muse, who was the runner-up, and we're going to come back to Candy Muse later because she's the one that went in and let have on Miss Tyra. So I'm trying to set up all of the positive stuff before we get to the negative. There's always a method to the madness. So Candy Muse, who was the runner-up on season 13 of Drag Race, shared her own tribute to the Vivienne via IG on Sunday, saying, "You fucking rock star, you angel. I'm in utter shock, devastated, and absolutely heartbroken. One of the sweetest person I've ever gotten to meet and spend time with. You kept me up while I was at my lowest in my life on tour with your bright energy and smile. I miss you, friend. Rest easy, you beauty. Broken heart emoji. I love you at the Vivienne _." Another person said, Bimini said, "I'm so sorry, broken heart. I'm in total shock." Tia Coffee tweeted, "This is an incredible loss to the British drag community and to the world. Viv representing UK drag at its absolute finest on stage and screen internationally. She was a mentor, an inspiration, and a friend. This shock will be felt deeply by us all. Love you, Viv." And then you had Ashley Roberts from the Pussycat Dolls had posted something. Also, Vivienne's ex-husband, David Luford, jumped in and gave his own emotional tribute. We also have Bianca Del Rio had said something, which is rest well at the Vivienne. Russell T. Davies, who y'all know did like Queer as Folk and stuff and other shows, he said the Vivienne, James Lee Williams, 1992 to 2025. We met a couple of times and chatted online. He was absolutely delightful. I was expecting lots of drag queen banter and bitching, but he was far more than that, kinder and more thoughtful and glittering with shrewd observations. And what a talent. On the cusp of graduating to West End stardom. What a world, night darling. So those were all the tributes that came pouring in. But of course, without love and people who have like a heart and all stuff, you're gonna have your haters. So one said hater who people feel would be none other than Miss Tyra, aka King Tyra, aka Bitchy Tyra, whatever you want to call her. So RuPaul's Drag Race alum Tyra Sanchez, who won season 2. Some people still feel that Raven was robbed, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. She's been criticized for making a joke about the death of James Lee Williams, better known as the Vivienne. Now, the Vivienne, we already talked about how she passed away and stuff. Police investigating the tragic star's sudden death confirmed there was no suspicious circumstances. Now, as tributes poured into one of Britain's most recognizable drag queens, Sanchez, who won the second season of RuPaul's Drag Race, has been heavily criticized for a series of nasty tweets. Sanchez, formerly known as King Tyra, whose real name is James Ross, responded to a 2020 tweet from the Vivienne on the day that their untimely death was confirmed by manager Simon Jones. And then some people was in my comments saying, because when I first posted this, I first found out this from a friend of mine on social media. So I grabbed the screen grabs and I posted on my page and they'd be like, what the hell's going on? And I had people in the comments like, I'm automatically Team Tyra and not Candy's side, because Candy did jump in and they went at it on social media and people was automatically going on Tyra's side. I'm like, y'all don't even know what happened or why this is all going on. But one of my friends was like, how you over here still hurting over a 5-year-old tweet and you was sitting on that until this situation happened for you to post it online? Like, that's what we doing? You that damn hard up for attention that you decided to take an old tweet that the Vivienne posted years ago and use that as a way for you to be a bitch. So the Vivienne's old tweet said, bet Tyra was fuming when she realized Netflix spoiled the win too. Sorry, gal. You tried though. And then Tyra responded, yet it doesn't compare to the fumes of the crematorium. So the twisted tweet was met with a flurry of criticism from fellow drag queens and fans, where the Candy Muse came up and said, I've defended you for years, but now you can absolutely go fuck yourself. And if our path were to ever cross, it's absolutely on site. It's not a threat, it's a promise, you disgusting person. And then Tyra responded, threat received, prepare your funeral. Well, she always talking about somebody to prepare for their funeral, or she gonna kill or unalive somebody. I remember the whole bomb threat that she basically put out there when she was going at it with Morgan McMichaels and a whole bunch of other people at DragCon, and she was banned. So yeah, that was what Candy Muse, whose real name is, and they had why y'all always gotta put everybody's damn government name up here? Kevin Gabriel Candelario. So then the drag star also doubled down in a series of tweets afterwards, including one which said, "She's dead, rotting. Sending me all the hate in the world won't bring her back. But do as you must. Because of you, the tweet has reached over 25K individuals. Thanks for the much needed attention that I so desperately needed." Well, you putting this kind of energy out here, you being a person who is a Drag Race alum, like you're literally one of the elders who you should know better because you was on the second season of Drag Race. So when you put stuff out here like this, when you're a fellow Drag Race person who was doing this long before the Vivienne even got to be on the show, and you posting that tweet, what did you expect? Of course it's going to garner over 25,000 people. It's going to get the series of retweets. It's going to get the series of comments and likes. Or people are going to come in the comments and read you down to the floor, which another Twitter user posted, "You are disgusting. Shame on you." And another one wrote, "This was very twisted. As someone who used to admire you, this is so cold-hearted and disappointing." The Vivienne's death, shocked fans of RuPaul's Drag Race from around the world. So a spokesperson, and this is an update from today, for Cheshire Police said officers were called to an address on Trollton by Backford at 12:22 p.m. on Sunday following reports of a sudden death. The spokesman said police attendant investigated the circumstances of the death of 32-year-old man and concluded there were no suspicious circumstances. A file will be prepared for the coroner. Now, we'll see, based off of, the coronation of the situation, if, what the cause of death will be, because I'm sure it's going to get out there in the news. But, the people on Us Weekly said this, because I also saw this little screen grab. Someone said, Tyra, everyone's least favorite winner. Another person said, Tyra should have never won her season. It's the absolute worst representation. Another person said, the vid was truly loved. I can't say the same for the other. Another person said, Tyra, the joke of season 2. Well, look, I don't even think Tyra was that well liked when she was on her season, because Quiet as Kept, I didn't really care for her. I was here for the other ones. I was here for Morgan. I was here for Mystique. That fight was iconic. I was here for Juju B. I was here for, who else was on that season? Oh my God, who's the one that said Tatiana? Because I was like, who's the one that said Choices? I was living for all of them. They had a really good season for season 2. I was not, and I love Raven. Raven was messy, but I like Raven, and I feel like those should have been the ones who should have been in the top. I didn't particularly care for Tyra, and that's why I gagged when she won. I'm like, really? And that's probably when they started getting the whole subject. Okay, we got to stop letting the colors win. But then, of course, season 3 we had Raja. So Raja's win was definitely well deserved, and then also, we had Raja did do like a Instagram live on speaking regarding what happened with the Vivienne and speaking on this situation. And I know also, because a friend of mine was telling me this, somebody was going in on Maddie Rants because, who's a fellow podcaster, YouTuber, who posted something up about the Vivienne, and people felt like he was clout chasing. How was he clout chasing? He's doing basically nothing different than what all the other Drag Race girls were doing, which is posted their tribute. So why can't those who do shows within the Drag Race space also speak up and give their condolences? If it was any of the drag queens that I knew that I heard had passed away, like Bob the Drag Queen or Alaska or any of the girls or Jujubee, people who I've actually had the pleasure of having conversations with and interviewing and all this other stuff, then I would give my condolences in that way as well. So I don't know why it's an issue when a non-Drag Race girl gives a tribute. People should be allowed to express themselves how they see fit. So, is there any more to this story? So, yeah. So, based off of the situations, I like the Vivienne. I loved her on her season. I also loved her on All Star. She was definitely fun to watch. And unfortunately, I never got the opportunity to meet her. But I thought she was a great contribution to the show. And it's sad that we've lost another Drag Race girl. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Those of you who are saddened about the loss of the Vivienne, what were your, if you've met her, what were your experiences like meeting her, be it like a meet and greet or out of the club or wherever you've done Raina? Didn't at one point the Vivienne got caught up in some shenanigans or wasn't she like bashed or whatever at a McDonald's or something or another? I could have sworn there was something, one of the UK girls, I think it was the Vivienne, that got into some mess last season. And then this happens. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, you said because you talked about Roger. Oh, yeah. Well, Robert, thank you for the super sticker. So what's crazy is that I was watching the Sahara and Morgan lip sync an hour before. That's crazy that you would say, oh, you watching old episodes of Drag Race like me. You said I rewatched All Star 7 a couple of weeks ago. I was getting back into wanting to watch All Stars, but at this point, I'm so caught up in watching the regular seasons of Drag Race. Like currently, I'm watching season 14 with Kerry Colby. And I was like, how foreshadowing that she talks about, oh, my drag mother, Sasha Colby, and she comes on the next season. So, you said, I read what Kenny Muse wrote. Yeah, I screenshot it and I posted on my social media. Everybody, what happened? What's going on? I hate to admit this, but I just unfollowed the Viv last week when I did an unfollowing spree. Ooh. Any particular reason? Maybe it was like her drag wasn't. You were just like, I'm just cleaning house. And you said, oh, okay. Because I'm like, did she do an all winter season? I barely remember the all winter season. That's why I guess I gotta rewatch some of the All Star shows. The American ones, of course. I love the Vivienne on All Star 7. She was great in Santa School for Girls. Yeah, she actually was a good performer. I saw the story on Us Weekly's Instagram. Yeah, I saw that. I think it was your link. Tyra was in my top 5 queen of all time, but it screwed her after this. Oh yeah, I've been gave up on her. Although I was trying to see the silver lining. Remember when she recently came out and we did a show a couple of weeks ago talking about Tyra and she was changing up her name and it seemed like she was trying to turn over a new leaf. And then she says this mess. If you're gonna be insensitive in a time when people are grieving, then it's like, yeah, I can't be bothered with you. And some people's like, oh, it's mental health. At what point are we gonna stop blaming shit on mental health? So I stopped liking Tyra when she was telling people to kill. Oh yeah, she was doing that a lot too. That's her go-to. Was like basically unalive yourself. I'm like, girl, it's tired, it's old, and it's late. You need to come up with something new. Problematic queen, SMH. She is trying to. Yeah, and she's talking about, well, y'all keep talking about I'm trying to crave attention. So I'm like, yeah, well, when you and you trying to you put something out there, you're the one that posted the negative thing that you posted, and then you mad at the backlash you got, and talk about, well, look, it went 25,000 people. But that's what I'm craving attention. Clearly, you are. Do you not understand how the social media and virality works? I just never saw her post, but I felt bad because it did it a week before. Well, you wasn't gonna know if she passed. That's funny. They said if you turn over a leaf, it's the same leaf. And I did see that Candy was talking about that she's just gonna step away from social media for a while because she doesn't know how to deal with death and grieving and stuff. To be honest, I don't either. And I don't know if it's necessarily a New York a person of color thing, like where we're not good at like processing our emotions and dealing with things. Like we're very much like I'm very much um an exterior person in that way. So a lot of times like yeah, I just need to step away from people. I just need to kind of retreat within myself and deal with my issues in my own way. So there's a lot of that, but shout out to the Vivienne and all the people who loved and knew her and her family and all that other stuff because that's sad. I mean, she's so young, 32 years old, and you know she's no longer here with us. I was like, I had to turn that heat off. It's hot. It's starting to get hot up in here. I see like sometimes when they say you do like studio work that you should keep the room cold because it keeps you like awake. But let's get to this final topic and let's talk about Drag Race. So Drag Race happened in case, on Friday, finally, I finally got to see the full episode because as y'all know, I told y'all um I went to the show, the premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race. couple of I'll say last month. I'm not even gonna say like a couple of weeks ago. So it was like last month, um, went to the Drag Race New York premiere. And we not only I took pictures of the red carpet, all this other stuff, but I actually got to see a sneak peek of the first episode. And pretty much I do have a separate video on the YouTube channel which gives you a full breakdown of like what went down behind the scenes, as well as what I saw in the show. And definitely now that y'all have all seen it, I wonder if, y'all sentiments echoes mine, but I have evolved a little bit ever since, because after I told you the only part we got to see up to was when they did the Raider Queen. After that, that was all we got to see. So we didn't get to see them lip sync to Women's World by Katy Perry, which I think, in a way, I'm so glad they didn't put that on, because I really feel like if the queens in there would have been booing. I really feel like they would have been booing, like I heard that some of the people was doing when they were doing like they do like the viewing parties and stuff at the gay clubs. When it comes to like they do the Drag Race viewing parties. From what one of my friends was telling me, they was like, not people in here booing the Woman's World. I'm like, nobody likes that song. And I told you when she performed it at Jingle Ball, the people kind of were just not into that song. It's not a good song. It is no shade. No shade, but well, maybe it's a little shade. 143 is not that great of a track either. But regarding the, Drag Queens Got Talent, Acacia forgot, who, no shade, it seemed like a lot of people forgot her performance after they watched it. But she's clapping back at Bob the Drag Queen and Monet for throwing a little shade towards her during the premiere episode of Sibling Rivalry. So, true to her name, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17 star Acacia Forgot is about to pop up as a recurring vision in your mind's eye as she strives to hit all the right notes in RuPaul's heart in pursuit of a crown. Now, music therapy major, the accomplished bluegrass and country singer-songwriter knows how to fuse rhythm and lyrics to achieve real results in human brain waves across her soothing work with patients at New York City's Mount Sinai Hospital. Acacia has left more professional side of her affinity for music behind, though, and now explores and exposes matters of her own heart on stage. Said, I had a guitar in my hand before I could even walk. This is what Acacia, who studied music in school after moving from California to North Dakota and comes from a family steeped in musical prowess, tells Entertainment Weekly. Music is what gets me up in the morning. I just decided to fuse it with drag, writing music, and performing, and that's pretty much the only gigs I do. I was like, well, why not? I mean, look, Trixie Mattel makes a living strumming a guitar and drag, so why can't she? So she prides herself on her musical talents, and she spent most years immersing herself in the craft, both personally and professionally. Her assertion in her Meet the Queens video that a live singing queen should win Drag Race, however, drew criticism from past winners Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange, who cited contestants like Jinx Monsoon and Trixie Mattel as examples of singers who won the show in the past. They then played a clip from one of Acacia's older songs during a December episode of Sibling Rivalry, which made Bob laugh out loud. When asked about the moment on EW's exclusive group interview with the season 17 cast, Acacia prompts her audience to listen to her new material, saying, "We don't have to talk about it. I did hear about it. They laughed in my face. Girl, she listened to my music and she started laughing. But I will say that's my old music. It's not my favorite, but you can stream my new music on Apple Music, Spotify, and it's a lot better and a lot more me." Now, back to Acacia's one-on-one interview, the entertainer clearly has a sense of humor about her abilities and makes it clear that she just can write tunes doesn't mean she can, well, just because she can write tunes doesn't mean that she can move to them. Say, I'm not the dancing diva, I can barely stand. She was joking besides packing live shows for 45-minute sets filled with live singing, comedic numbers, parodies, and original songs. Well, that's kind of like, I guess that's her thing that, I could do the comedic numbers, the parodies, original songs. Like it's kind of like a variety show thing that she's doing. But here's the thing. Now, this is why I'm going to have to call you out, Acacia, because I don't think you were the worst, even though I don't think she should have been in the bottom. No shade, but I already said, my bottom three, in my opinion, in that episode would have been Lydia, Ariette, and Joella. I do not think Joella's performance was good. It was like some typical basic drag queen song performance thing that we've heard tirelessly on this damn show. Ariette, I didn't particularly like her performance. It's like, okay, you could twirl a dress. Now what? I mean, you cute out of drag, no shade. I would definitely hit it from the back. But Ariette's performance, okay, so you can twirl around a dress. Give me something else. Like, okay. And Lydia, no shade, but I don't remember her overall performance. I remember her runway look. I remember her look coming into the workroom where she was giving, the whole Beetlejuice type of vibe, the gothic makeup and all that other stuff. Like, I got that, but other than in regards to performance, already forgotten. To me, it was like, yeah, that wasn't a better representation of you or the best representation. When you do these talent shows, that is your moment for you to let the world know who you are. Why would I want to go listen to your music when you have the opportunity to present your musical style there? When you were on that stage, why would you pick a song that genuinely didn't feel about you or you didn't particularly like that song? You say my old music and it's not my favorite. If it wasn't your favorite, you should perform your favorite track that's going to get you traction and attention on the main stage. I feel like the reason why Joella wasn't in the bottom is because Katy Perry was there. And she's supposed to be like this big Katy Perry super fan, and they didn't want to put her in the bottom because then she would have had to been called out as the bottom queen with Katy Perry being there. So I feel like they was going to keep her there just for that week. Maybe she'll go home in episode 2. Well, not episode 2, episode 3. Because next week, we got to get the second half of the queens performing, and then whoever winds up in the bottom, they have this lip sync against Acacia, and one of them gets the sachet away. And I think that's when we get the whole twist about dunking in the pool and that whole situation with Michelle. Because I had people in my comments when I posted on the RuPaul page, Drag Race page on YouTube, people were asking me, okay, so well, since you were there, what is the whole Michelle Visage thing about? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, at the after party, they did have a dunking pool, but they had balls and stuff in it. They wasn't going to wet the patrons. So you could sit in the little dunking pool thing, and then people hit it with the ball, and you can get dunked into this tub of balls. So I thought that was pretty cool. But we're not going to find out what that is until next week's episode because I have no idea what that twist is. Like I told you, the only part that we saw up to in the premiere was when they did the Raider Queen in the first episode. After all of that, I have no idea what to expect from this upcoming season unless I have someone who's going to spill the tea to me. But me, as a fan of Drag Race, I like going in spoiler free rather than knowing everything that goes on. Because I know people who be knowing the whole thing, who's going to be in the top 4, all that stuff. I'm like, I don't want to know. I want to be able to go on this journey and find out on my own rather than somebody telling me. So I'm like one of those type of fans. If I like a show, it's like, don't tell me. So, Acacia, I hope you don't get to go home. I do hope you last longer than your drag mother, and that would be Irene Dubois. So I do hope that you get to last a lot longer. And I'm curious to see who's going to end up in the bottom next week alongside Acacia. But in my opinion, like I said, who would I put? Because I had to put it in my notes. And I said Lydia, Ariette, and Joella were my bottom 3. Now my top 3 was Jewel Sparkles, La Leche. I still had that in my damn head. The Lucky Stars, who sidebar, and that's not only because they follow me on Instagram, but the Lucky Stars, I like their performance too, because it was like literally they peed on that stage. With the lemonade stuff. And Susie Toot, I'm living for Susie Toot because Susie Toot she reminds me of Tammy Brown. Like I be getting Tammy Brown teas from her. So I like the weirdos or the queerdos, as we should say. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this whole thing regarding what Acacia Forgot said regarding, Bob the drag queen laughing at the fact about her music and that sort of thing. And do you think, based on if you saw the premiere episode of season 17, excuse me, that she deserves to be in the bottom 3? And the bottom this week? And who do you think, if not, should have been in the bottom? Like I said, I think Joella gave the worst performance. I mean, between her and Lydia. I don't think Acacia was as bad, but you're only as good as your first song choice if you're going to do a live musical number. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it was either. I mean, isn't that what happened with Aubrey Plaza husband that allegedly he unalived himself? Yeah, that's why I was like, I knew it was something. So yeah, it was like a whole situation that went down at a McDonald's, and then we hear this story. It's like, I love country music, but I didn't like Acacia's country song. Drag queens do perform country music, need to do it like Trixie or take some notes from Dolly. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't really feeling her song either, but do I feel like she was the worst performance? No. I was a Joella cry over Katy Perry. Oh, child. You want to know something? I hate you because I literally said the same thing next to my friend when we was at the premiere. I was like, really, of all the people, Katy Perry is, the one that got you acting like this. And then he was saying something. I was like, you know what, you're right. He was like, that's his person. That, every I won't say every, but it was like, you know, most homosexuals have their go-to diva. There's some that is just like the gays do it like, for me, it would be Madonna. For some, it's Gaga. For some, it's Katy Perry. I don't see it with Katy Perry, but like my friend said, that's his person. But I was doing the same thing. Like, really? I was side-eyeing the whole damn thing. Like, okay, girl, now you're being dramatic. So I did research on the US tour of Sophie Ellis Bextor, and people have said they did the best marketing. You go to the show, it was gay men in their 30s or 40s. Yes, it was murder on the dance floor. Yeah, that's like the same thing when I went to when Kylie came here and did her show. It was I don't even think there was women in the audience when I think it was every homosexual in New York City was at the Kylie For Me For You tour when she came did her little tribute. I want to thank the American fans for supporting me, and she did it at like the smaller venues. I believe it was like every homosexual that I knew in New York was at that event, and I don't recall any women. I'm sure there were, but I don't recall off the top of my head if there was women there. It was mostly a lot of men. Oh no, I love me some Lucky Stars. I was not, I love the paper mache and the creativity of her looks, and I love the performance on the stage too. It had me cackling, and I was like, this thing is so stupid. You already know that's RuPaul automatically is gonna love this performance. And like I said, with not Arietti, with Miss Mama's with La Leche, I was living for that song too. Jewel Sparkles. I was living for her performance, but she gagged me when she was talking about that she has she said, I got a whole new spine. I'm like, how? But luckily she could walk, but I'm like, don't damage yourself, but don't be doing these dips and stuff out here like a lot of these queens or these jump splits because you don't want to mess up your spine. Not for no drag. That got her on their radar, but the deep dive into her catalog and they knew every song and every twirl she did. So her team knew to market a woman her age and her classic Euro disco sound. Yeah, that's what's like. You have to market her to the people that will come out and support. And it's like, yeah, people in their 30s or 40s are going to come out and support a Sophie Alex Bextor. Stop trying to push her on, you know, teenagers and 20-year-olds. Let them have Tate McRae and all them other girls. But let us have Sophie Alex Bextor. Let us have Kylie Minogue. Let us have all these other girls that we've been supporting. Now, if you are a teenager and a 20-something and an early 30-something that wants to come along for the ride and be in the zeitgeist while we sit up here doing, listening to Sophie and her music and all this other stuff, then that's great. But I hate when you take a legacy act and y'all try to be like, well, screw the older fans. Let's push them on the younger fans. And it's like, but we've been supporting them from the beginning. These younger generation, y'all fickle with y'all stuff. So, the gays, especially the older ones, they loyal. We're a loyal bunch. They said two Gen X gays and millennials, gay born in the 80s, approaching 40, or already in their 40s, and they were smart to do New York, LA, San Francisco, and Chicago. Yeah, you got to do the main spots. And I feel like, I mean, I feel like some people, I know you particularly are worried about Kylie's upcoming tour, but I feel like maybe that's what they should have focused on. It's like, yeah, you could do, you know, your main staples that you've done over the years in Europe because she solidified herself over there and she knows that fan base will always come out and support her. But someone like a Sophie or a Kylie's demographic is like, yeah, you should do the main spots like a New York, LA, San Francisco, Chicago, Miami, just do I do all the liberal areas. Don't do like a Tennessee. Don't be going over there. I mean, unless you're about to tour Golden again. You said that they understood her assignment and her demographic and saw the success and reaping it. The gays that grew up loving Kylie Minogue post Can't Get You Out of My Head. Madonna gays are Sophie fans for life. Well, funny enough, it was like, yeah, I had listened to her Stock Aitken Waterman stuff back in the day, but I really became more of a Kylie fan during the Can't Get You Out of My Head era. And then I saw, well, not really, because it was Fever. Because it was Light Years. I did love that album. So it was Light Years when I really got into her. But then I started going back and I listened to a lot of her soul music, Stock Aitken Waterman. And I liked a lot of that music because, they worked with everybody from Rick Astley. The other day they played Billy Ocean's Get Out of My Dreams and Get Into My Car, bitch. Can I tell you, I was up in there singing every word to that song. When I was at work, I'm like, no, y'all not playing this damn song up in here. Look, the 80s had some fabulous dance tracks back in the day. But he said Lucky is my winner pick so far. I just love alternative drag. Lucky and Susie. I'm also rooting for Sam Star, even though she's Southern pageant and trade out of drag. Yeah, Sam Star is cute. You want to know something? I agree with you. I tend to falter more towards. I mean, yeah, I grew up watching like the glamour drag and all the other stuff, like coming up in the drag scene in New York and the city. But I've always been a fan of like that alternative drag. That's why I love Dragula. And seeing like artists like Lee Bowery and so many others, I've always liked that whole punk aspect to that rock and roll punk aspect of drag. But yeah, Lucky is like someone I definitely want to see go really far. And Arietta is like a horn dog on this damn show. She trying to hunch Lucky on this. She like she want to eat him up. We was watching that in the thing, and it was funny because we were laughing. And then I'm trying to see the reaction. Like, okay, this is the first time y'all are seeing the show and seeing what people are saying about y'all in the confessionals. Particularly the queen that got the trip to go to the show, like they were doing American Idol, and one of the queens that threw a little shade at her. Like you said, my go-to diva is Janet, but I admittedly have stopped listening to her recently. Yeah, probably because she hasn't really been all that inspiring musically. I like Susie too. Mm-hmm. Lucky's interest look was iconic, nothing like any other queen. Oh, please, and it's no shade. I don't want to be shady, but first of all, Lucky's group, like when we were at the show, she had like her little support team that was there. They was kind of annoying me because they was real loud. They was screaming and all this other stuff. I'm like, y'all don't shut the fuck up. But then again, I got it. It was like, first of all, they're only doing that because, they're a fan. They're her friends. Well, not a fan, but they're like her friends and they support her. But then again, the people that were there supporting her, I believe one of them was like a acrobat or something. She has some fine ass friends. So I'm not going to hate on her with that. But yeah, it was, I love her look. Out of everybody, it was cute. Who was the one that had like the train? Damn, I wish I would have remembered who a lot of names. Because this is like, I'm glad I'm not the only one. There's been people online that have been saying like, this may be the season where it's going to take a while for me to remember who everybody is on there because I don't want to say nobody's really standing out, and I think also what's kind of annoying me, there's a lot of Nepo baby stuff on this show. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love me some lingerie. And you want to know something? I am so damn slow because it took me watching the episode a couple of weeks ago. Lingerie. And I'm saying like, lingerie. Why am I thinking like Lana Del Rey? That was a play. No, it's a play on lingerie. And she goes to the workroom in the yellow lingerie ensemble. That look was everything. But of course, she's Lux Noir London's daughter because fabulosity, walking up in there, all that beautiful chocolate skin, and the outfits is everything. So, not surprised that she would be up under the wing of a Lux Noir London. So I was definitely living for lingerie. I was loving I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Cute name. Look, it's better than Heidi in Closet, and I did see her at the event too. But it was like, yeah, that name is horrible. You should have gone with something else. But that's what she wanted to continue walking around with. Any feedback on your nerve? No. She's all right. Wasn't she the one that? No, it wasn't her. Who was the other black queen that threw shade at is that a cisgender woman or a trans woman, the one that got invited to the come on the season? that, who showed up basically stalking Rue with his book signing. Damn, I can't forget. I can't remember her name, but that blonde wig looked a mess. I was like, girl, you should have shaved down the sides. The wig looked like it was ill-fitting. You had on that tight, the body was everything, but that skirt was a mess. There was some of the girls that came in the room and was like, your work looks, your interest look is a choice. Like it's Mona Lisa. Oh, okay. I ain't particularly care about Mona Lisa yet, but we'll see if she does well next week. I guess, she's one of those, she's the new fan vote where RuPaul just going, could you imagine if he does this every season? That he decides, I'm just going to pick a girl and you're going to Hollywood like this is American Idol. Ooh, no, I won't give y'all no ideas. I'm like, what if they actually did that like an American Idol with drag queens where it's just like, you come in, you do the audition, be like, you're going to Hollywood. Like one of those. She seems like one of the funny queens this season. Well, yeah, she is fun. No, she was loud. She was funny. We were laughing when we watched her at the premiere. So the stuff she was saying, like, I definitely liked On Your Nerve when she came out. But I don't know, she's not standing out to me just yet. I do love that she is very much giving Simone with this, like, I'm very pro-black in a lot of what I do with the fashions and all the other stuff. And speaking, I think I did tell you that Simone hosted the premiere, like the premiere event, like when the queens was coming out, she was introducing them and all other stuff. So yeah, she did that. Oh, you said she gave me early out tea. Oh, you think? Oh, so you actually think that she's gonna get eliminated first? She might. I would not be surprised. Raven says she looked like sadness. Oh my God! Now I can't unsee it. That is funny. She kind of does look like sadness. Now that I think about it. Oh, Raven, I hate you for that one. Here's a Mona Lisa. A lot of people say she looks like. Oh yeah, see, y'all both said the same. She kind of does look like sadness. Was it Raven that said that? I saw a picture of her in sadness. I mean, she probably could have said it. Though. So somebody probably took what she said and just made a meme out of it, or they probably, greater minds. The case is dropped against Nicki Minaj over insufficient evidence. That's the breaking news. Just a disgruntled employee that was fired over asking candidates to stay in California. Well, I guess we'll break that story down tomorrow. She will do one more album and tour and retire because she'll have to be there when Bear goes to school because Kenneth can't be involved or hands-on for their son. And at this point, look, no shade, but we already know like women have an expiration date when it comes to doing music more so than men do. But I feel like if Nicki ever wants to come out and make money, she can always come out and tour. Like I already told y'all, Nicki has a solidified base. The Barbs will always support her. Even when her music wasn't popping as much as it used to. The 2 tours that she did of Pink Friday 2 was selling out. And it was successful. So we can't hate on her for that. So look, she can walk away from music and never release another track. She'll always come out, do a show, get a couple of dancers, cute outfits, because she's a pop star. And I believe that if anytime she wants to come out and do an arena tour, she'll make an announcement, I'm doing an arena tour. And the Barbs will come out and support. I think I did. I actually watched the pit stop earlier today. I must have fell asleep on that part, but because I did doze off a little bit. I've been off and on with my sleep situation. My dog just went and started freaking barking at 3:00 in the morning, and I could not fall back to sleep. He was pissing me off. So, my dog Prince, that actually looks like, and funny that if y'all need a description of what he looks like Crypto in the upcoming Superman movie. So you already know those type of dogs can be a pain in the ass. So he said, oh yeah, so I agree. I mean, if she decides to retire and walk away from doing music, I don't feel no ways tired about it. It's like you've already solidified yourself, you've done all you need to do, and now you can just come out for the rest of your life and just do a regular tour. So that's what I see in regards to that. But yeah, so we are at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Like I said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Those who also were liking and commenting in the chat and all that stuff. Also, once again, thank you, Robert, for the super sticker, all that good stuff. So, love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.